Is everybody ready to get this crusade narrative going? Here is the battlefield. You guys have seen a couple shots of it already. This is from the angle of the Slaaneshi Emperor's children. You guys may see that Fulgrim is not on the table anymore. I decided to pull him. The points were just too out of control for Slaanesh, and I didn't think it gave the Battle Sisters much of a chance. So Fulgrim has been pulled. Also, his ability to fly over the board, pretty much probably kill the Inquisitor in 2 turns, wouldn't be the best for the battle. So it is now being led by a Lord Exultant, who is actually inside one of the transport here. So I use Horus Heresy Forge World boxes for anyone that's inside a transport. And the way that this is lined up is we have the Lord Exultant in the furthest rhino here on the left. The second rhino next to it is the Noise Marines. And then last but not least, we have the Emperor's Children models here that are inside the Land Raider. So across from them here, we have Noise Marines, Lucius with some Flawless Blades. The Celestine Sacrosancts are there with the Castigator behind them. Retributor Squad moving to the middle. We have Demonettes and the Greater Demon of Slaanesh that have come through that gateway. Across from them, the Sanctifiers. There we go, that's what I was looking for. Over here, we have more Demon of Slaanesh models and those 2 rhinos, and across from them there is the Sisters Rhino, the Battle Sister Squad with the Magifier, the Paragon Warsuits in behind, and in a sec I'll flip it over and show you guys who's in behind that Wall of Martyrs there, guarding the Inquisitor. Alright, so over on the flip side, we just did this, but I wanted to show you guys the Inquisitor and his retinue, the Inquisitorial Henchmen. So there's 2 units of them, 2 gun servitors. The Inquisitor is there on the tower, and the mission will be to get him over to the landing pad here. We're going to say if the ship lands, it's good to go. The victory indicator here for the Sisters of Battle is they must have the Inquisitor survive 5 turns. So if the Emperor's Children and Slaanesh demons can get in here and kill our Inquisitor in 5 turns, they win. If the Sisters of Battle are able to repel them or hold them up for 5 turns, then the Sisters of Battle have won this one. So we're going to get to this really soon. I'm super stoked to see how this goes. As I said during the intro video, the Battle Sisters are kind of in between the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard. They have power armor on. They have a toughness of 3, though, like Guardsmen. They all have invulnerable saves, though, which is very, very cool and specific to the Sisters of Battle. And then in this one, they do have some allies. The point breakdown there, too, that you guys saw at the start is the Slaaneshi Emperor's Children force is at just under 2,000 points at 1915. And then with the models here helping them out, the original Battle Sisters are at 1,005 points. And with the Inquisitor and the Inquisitorial Henchmen and Sanctifiers, we are at, I think, 1,260. So still quite a bit more, almost 700 more points for the Slaaneshian Emperor's Children. But this one is not going to be, a blow for blow. It's going to be hold out for 5 turns. So I have to get some strategy going here for the Battle Sisters, make sure that they are going to be able to do that. And of course, as always, I will be playing super hard for both sides. It is going to be going over to the Emperor's Children, or the Battle Sisters first. Emperor's Children will be going second. And that's because this is the defending planet. So we are going to have the defenders, they've been keeping an eye out on the horizon. They see the Emperor's Children start to roll up, and the Battle Sisters and their allies will be able to fight. So this is going over to the Adepta Sororitas Battle Sisters first. We're going to do their move and shoot, and any melee that's going on, and I'll break it down as it goes forward. Let's get into it. The Adepta Sororitas have completed their first move. The shoots are still to come. You have to picture that these are absolutely crazy religious zealots that are fighting in the name of the Emperor, so they are not holding back at all. They've all come forward. They are protected by the Emperor, and of course, if a unit goes down, we get a miracle dice roll. The Sanctifiers moved in through the middle there. Some of them do have cover in this structure, as you can see. Some are out in the open. There's going to be a lot of models in range here, though. The Battle Sister Squad here moved up. They are also going to have a lot of models in range there. and the Rhino pulled in, let the Canoness out, as well as the Battle Sister squad here, and they're going to start plunking away at these two Emperor's Children Rhinos. See what happens. Paragon Warsuits there. The Multi-Maltas don't have the best range, super strong, but that Heavy Bolter is probably in range, so we will see how that goes. Retributors are probably in the same boat, might not have the range there. The Celestian Sacrosancts are looking for a scrap. They see Lucius, and they want to take him out because that would be a huge check in the box for the Emperor's glory. So we're going to get to the shoots here. I'm going to do all my measurements, make sure that I'm firing everything I can here with the Sisters of Battle, and then we'll be saving in the tray for the Emperor's Children. I'll probably get a few of those rolls in the tray. As I did last Crusade, I don't roll everything, but since this is going to be the first shoots, I'll get some pretty good ones in there that are in range. And then the Castigator as well, tucked in behind that wall over there by the landing pad, and it has the Land Raider in its sights. So we're going to see how that goes. Over to the tray in just a sec, and we'll get some shoots going. So I am going to start on the left side from the side of the Emperor's Children. So that's going to be the Battle Sister squad that's led by the Canoness, as well as the Rhino behind them. First things first, though, we have to get our miracle dice rolled here. So at the beginning of every turn, we're allowed to do that, and I can sub this dice in. I'm going to be using black dice for the Acts of Faith rolls, and then it's going to be red dice for the Battle Sisters after that. So let's see what we can get here. 5. Pretty damn good roll. I'm going to pull that over. My pool is going to be over to the side, and I might try to do a shot of that every little while just to show you guys what's in there. Also, I can use that right away if I don't make a very specific roll to be able to wound a tank or something, or hurt a fiend or a seeker or something like that. I can use that dice right away. So here we go. We're going to start off with the Warlord, our Canoness Vaheen. She's firing with her plasma pistol at one of the Emperor's Children Rhinos. So I'm just getting the profile up there for the Rhino. I'm not going to supercharge yet, but that might come in the future. So to be able to fire this, it is a 2+. And she got a 1. I could use the miracle dice right now. I'm going to hold on to it for now, though, just in case. So now that she has failed her roll, I really hope this doesn't turn into another whole crusade of poor rolls. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be firing all of the bolt guns for the Sisters of Battle. So we have 7 in total that have the bolt gun, 8 actually, because my Sister Superior also has that. So 4, 6, 8. Not the best strength, but maybe we can get some lucky rolls here and wound the Rhino. So it is going to be hitting on a 3+. It's actually rapid fire 1. So that's going to be an additional 8 dice. So let me just grab those. 2, 4, 6, 8. Good old bolt gun. Here we go. So since the rule for that, I've mentioned it a lot if you guys are new to the channel though. So the bolt gun's usual range is 24 inches. There is a rapid fire 1 ability that is if the bolt gun is in half that range, so 12 inches, you get an additional dice according to the rapid fire rule. So this is rapid fire 1. So every single bolt gun gets a second fire because they're doing like an auto. So they flip their bolt gun to automatic and they're just blasting away here. So we're hitting on 3 pluses. Pull out all of the failed rolls. Yeah, a lot fell off, but you know what? It helps out to have those extra rolls for the bolt gun. So these roll through. It is strength 4 versus toughness 9. This is going to be 6 to wound. I'll get that going now. And I did roll a few 6s, so that's pretty good. So you can just imagine these are explosive rounds, probably like, I don't know, I think bigger than a 50 cal. But we've got a few through. Sorry, this one doesn't count. Needed 6s. So we have 3 that are through. I'm going to switch out to my Emperor's Children dice. I have pink and purple for them. So this is to save for the Chaos Rhino. There is no AP with the bolt gun for a Battle Sister, so this is going to be a regular 3+ save for the Chaos Rhino. And there you go, just like that. So 5, 3, these are both saved. A 1 was rolled, which means that the Rhino has taken 1 damage. So the Rhino that is currently carrying the, we're going to do it for the Warlord of their force, is down to 9 wounds from 10. But the Battle Sister squad is not done yet. So they still have their support and heavy weapons. I'm going to be firing a Meltagun now. If it's within 6 inches, I actually get a bonus there too, and this might be, it is. That is amazing. So what happens here is similar to the rapid fire. A Melta-Gun has a Melta 2 that gets added onto the damage at the end of this, but first I have to roll it. So this is going to be a 3+, and this is maybe where I'm going to use that miracle dice if I don't roll here, because this is huge. I might be able to do some big damage to a rhino here. So I rolled a 1. As per the acts of faith, I'm going to be saying the Emperor is guiding us. I'm using that 5 from my pool that I rolled earlier, so that has passed. It is a strength 9 versus toughness 9. I'm going to need a 4 to wound, so I'll go back to our red dice. I don't have another miracle dice, but that was worth a shot. It's -4 to AP as well. That would not have given the rhino a save, as it doesn't have an invulnerable, and then it would have been D6 damage. So if that Melta-Gunner can survive, she might be able to do some damage there soon. Still not done though. We have the Ministorum Heavy Flamer. So this is a torrent weapon that hits automatically, and it's based on how many rolls you get. So I have 6 shots through automatically, because you're not going to be pulling a trigger and aiming here. It's literally just gouting something with flame. So we have 6. It is strength 6 versus toughness 9. It's going to be 5s to wound. That's a damn good roll there. So we've got several through. That was a 5. And it is -1 to AP. So I'm going to grab 4 purple or pink dice here for Emperor's Children. -1 to AP. This is going to be a 4+ save for the rhino. Wow, and a terrible roll by the rhino. So luckily it's only 1 damage for the Emperor's Children. This was saved. However, we have 1, 2, 3 wounds that have gone through. And that means that the rhino, with the warlord of this force, has gone from 9 wounds down to 6 wounds. So that's pretty damn good. One last thing, we do have the Sororitas Rhino, and it has a Stormbolter on it. So it's not amazing, but it's still definitely worth a shot here, because we might be able to do some more damage. So our Stormbolter is 2 attacks, +2, because there's rapid fire 2 with this. So we have 4 attacks total, hitting on a 3+. Oof. No miracle dice to save that one. So 3 fell off. I got 3 2s. This is strength 4, toughness 9, need a 6. It's close, but didn't get it. It's a 5. So that is it for that. I'm going to just continue to roll here. I'll sum up everything in a sec when we get back. It's just wanted to get a couple of rolls done there so you guys can kind of understand the rules of Warhammer 40K in the ranged attack phase. And you know, if more dramatic stuff starts to happen, I'll definitely turn the camera back on, but I will continue the move for the Sisters of Battle here. Their shoot off camera, and I'll come back and show you guys what's happened. And that's just to, again, let you guys kind of see how that moves if you're new to the channel, and get some experience going with those dice rolls. So I'm going to keep rolling here, and I'll come back and show you guys what's happened to the Emperor's Children and the Slaaneshian demons. So I'll be summing up the shoot there in a sec, but I definitely wanted to get this one on camera. It is the Retributor squad. 2 of the models are in range, and they're going to actually be firing at Lucius, which is kind of the 2 I see second in command of this army. I'd probably say he should be first, but he's not the kind of guy that wants to really lead anyone. So it's going to be 4+ here from the combat weapon. Got it. It is strength 4 versus toughness 5. Going to need a 5 to wound. Didn't get it. So the combat weapon has failed. The heavy bolter is next. It's going to be hitting on 4+ as well. So they do have the heavy ability. They moved, however, so they do not lose that. And the heavy ability turns a 4+ roll into a 3+ roll. So it can be very helpful. I just have to get people in range. So maybe next turn, if my Retributors are still alive, they can move up, lock themselves down, and get some better rolls going here, because those multi-meltas have to start firing. So 2 are through. It's strength 5 versus Lucius's toughness 5. So this is going to be 4s to wound. Both are through. That's fantastic. We're going to flip over here. It is a -1 to AP. That brings Lucius up to a 3 save. And he has saved both. If he hadn't saved one of those, it would have been 2 damage per. So it was definitely worth a shot. Wanted to turn that on just for that. I'm going to get over to the table here and show you guys what has happened for the shoot and sum it all up. It's been a while since I've done a crusade, and there's a lot of stuff to try to remember. It's, usually my Last Stand series or Fight 'em Up 40K, so a lot less stuff to track. but I'll try to do the best I can here in just a sec and show you guys what's happened. So we'll go the reverse because the right side from the Emperor's Children perspective of the Battle Sisters is what fired most recently. So the Castigator fired his Castigator battle cannon and actually stripped some wounds off of the Land Raider. So that's fantastic. It's gone from 16 down to 13 wounds. The Celestian Sacrosancts here tried to shoot into the Noise Marines and nothing happened there. There is an Infernal Pistol with the Sacrosanct Superior there, but it is only 6 inches, so it's got to be super close. As Lucius and the boys move in there, though, that's possible that might start to happen. So nothing there from the Sacrosancts this turn, but that's not why they're here. They're here to do some hand-to-hand combat. The Retributors, as you guys saw on camera, fired in, tried to strip some wounds off of Lucius. He is fine. Nothing happened. The Sanctifiers in the middle actually did super well. So they have Hand Flamers. The Hand Flamers were just within range of the 12 inches. There's also a Melt-A-Gun. There's the Sanctifier, some kind of Holy Fire on the left here from the Miraculist, I think they're called. And then the Plasma Gun and Melt-A-Gun sadly did not do anything, but the Demonettes have been brought down to 5 models. So the Sanctifiers were able to kill 5 with that Holy Fire and send the enemies of the Emperor back through the warp. The Greater Demon of Slaanesh, however, is completely fine, which is a little worrisome. Nothing really in range yet, and those Demonettes were taking any kind of fire that was coming in. The Seekers here as well were pretty badly damaged. There's 2 left. So there's the Seeker Champion there on the left-hand side, and then the other Seeker has 1 wound. They are very quick, though, and pretty good in hand-to-hand, so that might be something that the Sanctifiers are going to have to deal with. But they were plinked apart by the Paragon Warsuits, so both Multi-Meltas were just in range. The Heavy Bolter was definitely in range, so they're able to do some fire there. And then the Battle Sister squad here with the Magifier also fired in to them. Didn't get the best rolls there, but they were able to kill 1 model from that squad, and then the rest were cleaned up by the Paragon Warsuits. Over here, at the very beginning, you guys saw on the tray, the Sororitas Rhino, as well as the Canoness and the Battle Sister squad fired into the Rhinos and brought the Rhino on the left from 10 to 6. And that Rhino actually has the Exultant in it, which is the warlord for this Emperor's Children force. It is now, however, going back over to the Emperor's Children. This is a super fast army. 8, 9-inch movements. They have tanks, and then there's all of these troops within those vehicles that I showed you guys at the start. So this battle is nowhere near done. And these Emperor's Children are pissed off because a lot of their demons have been killed, and they're going to be getting into it right now. So it's over to the Emperor's Children and the Slaaneshian demons for their movement. Come back, sum that up, and we're going to get into the shoots after that, and then any hand-to-hand combat after that. This time we will go from left to right. The Emperor's Children have just finished their turn for movement. The Rhino, with the 6 wounds remaining, wheeled around this building, let out the Warlord, as well as a squad of... I always get these guys screwed up if it's Infractors or Tormentors. I think these are Infractors. They've got the sword and bolt pistol. And the Lord Exultant is out front there. So they've come around and they have flanked the Sisters of Battle and the Canoness. So that's going to turn into possibly a bit of a bloodbath. Over here, going through the center of the table, the Fiends went into hand-to-hand combat with this Battle Sister squad. They didn't want them plinking away anymore at them. So that's going to be interesting because the Fiends look like they're very good in hand-to-hand combat, and this force is so fast. The Fiends are 12 inches, I think. The Seekers are 12 inches. The Keeper of Secrets can move 14 inches. The Demonettes are 9 inches. The slowest models are Noise Marines, and they move at 6 inches, which is the speed of a regular Space Marine or human, so still quite fast. The Rhino dropped them off here too, and they're going to be able to clean up anything that remains after that of the Sanctifiers or the Battle Sisters. The Paragon Warsuits back there are going to have to get into it really soon, as well as those Retributors. Demonettes were able to move up but are not in any kind of combat, and they only have melee, so they might get picked off next turn, but that's kind of the purpose for them, is to be a screen so they can be shot at before taking out any of the ranged attacks. Over here, we had the Land Raider pull over, and either the Tormentors or Infractors, whichever one they are, I'll try to get that down throughout the battle, have wheeled around on the Celestian Sacrosancts. The Noise Marines have stayed in place, and I actually did not move Lucius, so I still have to do that and check his movement, as well as those Flawless Blades. And I think they're 8 or 9 inches, so that might actually be hand-to-hand combat territory for the Celestian Sacrosanct. So I'm going to do that right now, come back and show you guys that last move. There it is, Lucius and the Flawless Blades have moved up. They're 8 inches just outside of range of those Celestian Sacrosancts, but the Sacrosancts are going to get overwhelmed here. All of these models do have range, except for Lucius, I believe, but the Flawless Blades definitely have bolt pistols, not the strongest weapon, but the toughness of the Sisters of Battle is not amazing. Hopefully that Hospitaller can keep bringing some models back and buff them out to make sure that they can stay in this fight as long as possible. So it's going to be over to the shoot. I think I'll roll all of that off camera, anything that's in range and in line of sight, and then I will come back and show you guys how many Sisters of Battle have been lost, and if we're going to be getting any of those acts of faith going with some more of the blessed dice rolls. So just to get back in here, it is still the first turn for the Emperor's Children / Slaanesh and their shoot. First couple turns there have been pretty devastating for the Adepta Sororitas. I'll cover that when we get back to the table in just a sec, but I did want to roll this. It's the Noise Marines. They have pretty poor range, 18 inches and 12 inches, but the Paragon Warsuits are in range and in line of sight. So this is worrisome. Wanted to make sure that I got this on camera, show you guys that I'm playing hard for both sides. So there are 2 Blastmaster guns in here for the Noise Marines. What these are like sonic weapons, so they're sonic sound weapons. The Emperor's Children like to experiment with this kind of stuff, and some of them actually have like amplifiers attached to their vocal cords and through their mouth and stuff, so it's kind of fucked up. But this is going to be the Blastmaster, the first one coming through. It is 3 attacks hitting on a 3+. So those are all through except one, so 2 are through. It is a strength 10 versus toughness 7, so this is going to be 3s to wound. It's not good. The Blastmaster single frequency is a -2 to AP, so I'm going to switch over to my Battle Sisters here. That brings them up to their 4+ invulnerable. One has not been saved, the other has. So from the Blastmaster single frequency, that's 3 damage to our Paragon Warsuits. That brings one of them down to 1 wound. The Noise Marines are pretty devastating here. The other Blastmaster single frequency here now, hitting on 3+. All through this time. Strength 10, toughness 7, 3s to wound. 1 fell off. Luckily for the Battle Sisters, 2 are through though. I'm going to grab 2 save dice. This brings them up to their 4+ invulnerable. And one of the Paragon Warsuits has gone down. So that is not good. That is one of the Sisters of Battle's kind of stronger weapon systems here. And it has to be a multi-melta because I want to make sure that my Paragon Suit Superior is still going. So that is the end of one of their strong models. And now we're actually moving to the Sonic Blaster, which is not as strong, but there are 1, 2, 3 of them. So this is going to be 9 dice. I'm just going to grab them here and get this rolling. Wow. The Noise Marines are nothing to mess with. So this is the Sonic Blaster, 3x3, 9 attacks hitting on a 3+. A few of those fell off. The dice are so colorful, just like the Emperor's Children. Wow, that's nice. All right, so this time it is strength 5 versus toughness 7. They're going to need 5s to wound. 1 made it through, so we've got a 2, 2, 2, 1, 4. This one is through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings the Paragon Warsuit up to a 3+. Saved it this time. If not, that would have been 2 damage. And last but not least here, I'm just going to see if it's in range. The Screamer pistol. It's 12 inches. Luckily, it is not. So that is the end of the onslaught from the Noise Marines. I'm going to get back to the rest of these shoots, come back in just a sec, and sum everything up for you. You know what? We're going to keep rolling here for the Emperor's Children because there might be some cool stuff here. This is the Flawless Blades with their bolt pistols versus the Celestian Sacrosancts. And with the Hospitaller attached to them, they actually get a Feel No Pain 5+. So if they don't pass a save here, they have an invulnerable 4+, which is probably the best here for the Sisters of Battle, they can also get an additional 5+ to see if they're removed. And then from there also I can return models. Then after this, I'll get back to the shoots and we'll sum everything up because I still have the entire Tormentor squad to go as well. So here we go. This is bolt pistols hitting on a 3+. So 2 did not fire. Those flawless blades, really good with blades, not so great with pistols. It is a strength 4 versus toughness 3, 3s to wound. Was able to wound. It is going to be a 3+ save as there's no AP for the Celestian Sacrosanct. And able to save it. So no need for that feel no pain right now. Just wanted to cover that in the tray because it's a very cool rule. And back to the shoots here. I'm going to be finishing up here with the Emperor's Children shortly, back to the table. And I'll let you guys know if the Hospitaller was able to give them the feel no pain 5+ help. And then also when we get back to the command phase for the Battle Sisters, we can possibly return some downed models. All right, going to start on the right side of the Emperor's Children here. The Land Raider not able to shoot right off the bat, just as you guys can see. That Castigator is in a really good cover. If I can just bring the camera around here behind that wall, there's no real way to shoot it. The Tormentors here, however, fired in and killed 2 of the Celestian Sacrosancts. The Feel No Pain 5+ was not able to help them, but they did save a lot of attacks. So there was a plasma gun in there, melt-a-gun, plasma pistol, and then 7 bolt guns, and it was only able to kill 2 of them. They only have 1 wound apiece, but that 4+ invulnerable definitely helped. And then the Feel No Pain 5+ helped as well. The Flawless Blades fired in too. We're not able to do anything. Noise Marines do not really have line of sight here. As you can see over in the middle, cover this here. We still have to get to hand-to-hand combat, but there's nothing in range here. The Demonettes do not have any kind of range. The Noise Marines here, we did see them mess up the Paragon Warsuits pretty good. So that Paragon Warsuit on the left was lost. That's a multi-Melta unit as well. And these are kind of the models that I was hoping were going to be able to maybe fight the Keeper of Secrets. Another attack here coming in that has to happen for melee. I'll be rolling that in the tray. The Rhino here, not really anything in line of sight. They'd be shooting the Seekers or the Fiends in the back of the head. Over here, started off the shoot phase. I'll just come around. The Battle Sister squad here was messed up as well. They have 5 models remaining. The Canoness is still there. The Rhino is still there, but there's a full healthy unit of Infractors with the Lord Exultant and a Rhino. So we are going to see what happens there. Over to the hand-to-hand combat now for some of the models in the middle of the table. The Sanctifiers are into it with the Fiends or the Seekers, and then the Fiends are into it with the Battle Sister squad with the Imagifier. So let's see if there's going to be any more models lost. Roll that in the tray, and then we'll figure all that out. Melee hand-to-hand combat time. I just did the Sanctifiers versus the Fiends. Sorry, I keep calling them Fiends, the Seekers. And the Seekers shredded the Miraculous and one of the Missionaries. So I've lost one of the support weapons there. It was the Melt-a-Gun, the Missionary, and the Orange. I'll cover that in just a sec, but the Seekers were able to do that. It is now over to the Fiends, who are going to be attacking the Sisters of Battle. They have the Imagifier with them as well, and I'm just going to check the stats here really quick to be sure that I'm not missing any abilities. So I know Litany of Deeds, each time you gain a miracle dice as the result of an Adepta Sororitas unit or model from your army being destroyed. So that is very possible here. These Fiends I don't think are slouches in hand-to-hand combat. I am able to re-roll the results of that miracle dice before adding it to the miracle dice pool, so I'll have to remember that. And then the Stanchion of Holy Martyrs. While this model is leading a unit, so this Battle Sister unit is being led by this model, models in that have a save characteristics of 2+ and a 4+ invulnerable save. So that's going to really come in handy here. Very, very good model to have linked up to a Battle Sister squad if you guys are thinking of playing Adepta Sororitas. But here we go. So the Fiends do have the initiative here. They have 5 attacks apiece, so that is going to be 15 dice in total. It's going to be a whole mix of colorful dice here. I'm just going to grab them up. There is 10, 14, and 15. So here it is. I just dropped one. It is 15 attacks, so 5 per, 3 models in total, hitting on a 3+. So a couple fell off, more than a couple, a few fell off. These are all through. It is strength 5 versus toughness 3, so this is going to be 3s to wound. A few more fell off there. That is good for our Sisters of Battle. So we'll move that in here. And a 1. So we have 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to grab 6 red dice. Try to differentiate between the dice here. So this would usually be the 6+ invulnerable save. So the barbed tail and dissecting claws that the fiends are using are -2 to AP, 2 damage per. However, with that Imagifier being linked to this unit, it makes their 6+ invulnerable. Actually be a 5+ invulnerable into a 5+ save into a 4+ invulnerable. So we need 4s here. That's what we're looking for our Sisters of Battle. Oh, and a terrible roll. And I don't have any dice to back this up. So it is 2 damage per that has gone through as well. So you can just imagine these big lashing claws or dissecting claws and barbed tail just whipping and ripping apart these Sisters of Battle. So 1 was saved with the 6. These, however, were not. I needed 4s to save, and that is 2 damage per. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Our Battle Sister squad has fallen to the fiends. That is going to be a miracle dice roll coming up here in just a sec. I'm just going to remove the models and we'll do that. And the Imagifier is going to be able to counterattack. So that was super brutal. I just removed an entire Sisters of Battle squad there. The fiends shredded them. The Imagifier is still alive though, and she is fighting back. So this is going to be 3 attacks hitting on a 4+ with her close combat weapon. She's pissed off. She got 2 through. It is 3 strength versus toughness 5 though, so 5s to wound. 1 is through. 0 AP, so this is going to be a 5+ save for the fiends. They did not save it, so she was able to take a wound away from 1. They have 4 wounds, so 1 is down to 3. We are going to now use the Imagifier's special ability. So a squad was just lost that was within 12 inches of her. So we're going to roll a miracle dice for that lost squad, and I can re-roll if it's not a high enough number that I like. So it's a 5 again. I'm not going to re-roll that. I'm going to keep it. It's going to move over to my dice pool here. And we're going to see what's going to happen next. So I'll sum up the hand-to-hand combat melee here on the table. And then it's back over to the Sisters of Battle. So we have to roll another miracle dice. And we also have to see if the Hospitaller is going to be able to bring back any of those Celestian Sacrosanct. And I have to get a really good strategy going here to be able to buy this Inquisitor those 5 turns to be withdrawn and taken off of the planet. It's only moving into the 2nd turn right now, so this is going to be a pretty big uphill battle, I think, for our Sisters of Battle. So before we start up the 2nd turn there for the Sisters of Battle, I'm just going to sum up everything there. So Battle Sister Squad with Canoness lost 5. They're facing the Infractors or Tormentors, I always forget what they are, and the Lord Exultant. The Fiends absolutely shredded the Sisters of Battle squad that was being led by the Imagifier, but they got a miracle dice, and it was a pretty high roll. Didn't need to re-roll it. The Seekers were able to kill 2 of the Sanctifiers that were in the middle of the table. Over here, 2 Celestian Sacrosancts were lost, but the Hospitaller may be able to bring them back here. And that was from attacks from the Infractor or Tormentor squad here. So what remains is what you're looking at right now. Not many Sisters of Battle models remaining, and this fight has to continue for another 3 turns. I have to get a strategy together here, and I might have to do a strategic withdrawal to make sure that these troops can actually kind of pull back to their Alamo positions and hold off so the Inquisitor can get off the planet during the 5th roll. If not, this will be a loss for the Sisters of Battle. And there's already been a Battle Scar point that has been administered to the squad that was here. The Imagifier is still alive, so she has not got a Battle Scar. And we'll be going over the Battle Scars there at the end of the fight. It's probably going to be a -1 to their movement, which is what I did with most of my Cadian as well, kind of the lesser of any of the penalties you can take, but as those continue to add up, they can really affect and slow down your force. So I might use some requisitioning points to remove those, but we'll have to see how this battle rolls and what kind of victory I get or loss. So over to the tray here, we're going to get our miracle dice rolling to start up the turn for the Sisters of Battle, and then it's back over to them for their movement, and they might be trying to hightail it the hell out of here and get back closer to the Inquisitor to hold off the Alamo. All right, so this is miracle dice roll number 2. So again, you gain your miracle dice at the start of each turn, and then each time an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army is destroyed. So it does say, though, it's a little tricky, and again, this is kind of Games Workshop, but just reading here. Yeah, it's weird. So if your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, each unit from your army with this ability can perform 1 act of faith per phase. That's okay. Gaining miracle dice. If your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, you gain 1 miracle dice at the start of each turn. Each time an Adepta Sororitas unit. So is that like the beginning of the battle? Because on the app, it's different. So this might have changed. I'm just going to read it from the app now because I was looking at my codex book. I want to make sure that I'm following the rules here. So if your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, each unit from your army with this ability can perform 1 act of faith per phase. This is done using miracle dice. Gaining miracle dice. If your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, you gain 1 miracle dice at the start of each battle round. So the codex is not the same. The codex states at the start of each turn, and the application is at the start of each battle round. So this would be a battle round here, because that's your movement, shoot, melee, all that stuff. So I'm going to roll the dice here for that battle round. I guess that came in again during the balanced data slate. So here we go. And it's a 3. I can't reroll that because it doesn't have any ability right now. The Imagifier did that for the 1 unit if I needed it, but this is going to be saved in my pool. So I currently have a 5 and a 3 in my miracle dice pool. And we're going to get over to the movement here for the Sisters of Battle, and I will sum that up for you guys and show you kind of what strategy I'm doing. And we will roll for the Hospitaller here in just a sec too. All right, so yeah, there's tons of rules all the time. I'm trying to stay on top of this, trying to make it as balanced and even for each side. So I'm going to be doing the Hospitaller's Sacred Healing before I get. So while this model is leading a unit in your command phase, which is now, you can return up to 1 destroyed model, excluding character models. So she's with the Celestian Sacrosancts, that's who she's going to be returning. If you wish, you can discard 1 miracle dice. If you do, you can return up to D3 plus 1. So what I'm going to do is that 3 are just rolled that you guys saw. I'm going to discard that. And I am going to do a roll here to see how many of the Celestian Sacrosancts I can bring back. And this is going to be D3 plus 3. So D3 splits a dice in half. A 6 becomes a 3. A 5 becomes a 3 because cut in half is a 2.5 rounded up. A 4 is a 2. A 3 is a 2 because 1.5 rounded up is a 2. A 2 is a 1, and a 1 is a 1. So let's see what we get here. So no matter what, if I'd rolled a 1, it would have been a 1 plus 1. So I've discarded a miracle dice, but there's going to be 2 plus 1, so 3 models returned. There's only 2 currently out, so they're both back in the fight, which is really cool. They're going to need this. This might be the unit that's going to survive the longest. We'll have to see. But the Celestian Sacrosancts are back up to full strength at 5 models with the Hospitaller leading them and giving them a whole bunch of buffs because they also have that Feel No Pain 5+ ability from that too. So we're going to get back to it now. I'm going to do the move for my Sisters of Battle and then come back and show you guys what has occurred. So the Sisters of Battle movement is just done, flipping over to the other side of the table here, starting on the left side for the Battle Sisters. So the Castigator is still in cover behind that wall. It's got the Land Raider within its sights and in range. The Celestian Sacrosancts, back to full strength, have gone headlong into the Tormentors. I'm going to call these guys Tormentors. I think the others are Infractors. This is a ranged unit, so they don't have as great a weapon, so I thought it was a good move, and I also get the initiative here, so that's going to be a pretty good hand-to-hand scrap. I could have had them go in against Lucius. Lucius does not have the fight first if he's leading a unit, but the Flawless Blades and Lucius together don't know if they would have survived that Celestian Sacrosanct, so I think that was a good call. My Retributor squad has moved up, and they've kind of got some cover behind the sandbag wall. They're going to start to fire in on the Demonettes or on Lucius and try to soften him up. The Sanctifiers, not scared. They're just being smart. They moved back 6 inches to make sure that they were outside of the range of some of those enemies. They do have ranged weapons, so they're going to be able to put some firepower on the lesser toughness units like the Seekers and the Demonettes. The Keeper of Secrets is another story, but we'll get to that later. The Paragon Warsuits, I thought about it for a second. I want these units to get into hand-to-hand combat before they're possibly killed. They have the initiative here against the Fiends, and this is what they're here for. I wish the third model was still here to help them out, but this way they're not going to be able to be fired upon because the Fiends would be shot. The big thing is I have to kill at least one Fiend here. I think it might be over for those Paragon Warsuits. We'll see. The other reason that they jumped in there was to block for the Magifier. The Magifier is a fantastic addition to this force, a veteran sister, and they said, you know, run a Magifier, get in behind cover, and we'll take out these Fiends before they shred you apart like they did your Battle Sister squad. The Rhino here, we have the, I can show you guys, I always use the boxes for that. So we have the Canoness in there with the remaining 5 Battle Sisters. They jumped in the Rhino for a little bit extra protection, moved back 12 inches, and they're going to be able to hop out in time if needed to be able to hold up the Lord Exultant and the Infractors. The Rhino is there too, so we'll see how that goes. But that is it. So we lost a lot of models there for the Battle Sisters in there in the Emperor's Children first turn. We're going to get to the shoots now. There's still a lot of models that have range here for the Sisters of Battle, so I'm hoping that they're going to be able to do some damage, and we'll see if we can kill any of these Slaaneshian demon models or Emperor's Children, and then we'll get into hand-to-hand combat right after that. So over to the tray. This is a super dire shoot phase for the Sisters of Battle. If they do not eliminate models in this round or do not eliminate enough models, I think they're probably going to fall in the next couple of turns. The Sisters in the Rhino might be able to kind of move around the field and give a little bit of support here and there, but that's if the Rhino doesn't get damaged. We're going to start up though. I'm going to move from the right side of the table to the left. So we're going to be using the Castigator here. And I had originally thought that I'd be using the Castigator against the Land Raider. I'm actually going to use it against Lucius and the Flawless Blades. And I'm also going to be putting the Retributor squad on them as well to try to wipe that model off the board. And if I can do that with enough firepower, it's going to be good. Only thing here, the Flawless Blades and Lucius are currently a unit, so as the Emperor's Children player side, I'm going to be allocating the wounds to the Flawless Blades first that happen, and then to Lucius if he is, if there's still enough shots to go through. So we're going to start up here. It's the Castigator Battle Cannon, D6 plus 3. I'm really hoping for a high roll here. That's exactly what we needed, so that's going to be for that, and I think I've mentioned this before. You get a 6, so you grab your 6 dice based off of that d6, and then you add the plus 3. So this is a cannon weapon. It's got a blast profile. Strength 10. The Flawless Blades have a toughness of 5, but first, these are the amount of shots that have been, you know, this is like an artillery shell or a tank shell that's coming out. So it's exploded right in the middle of the Flawless Blades and Lucius. It's 3+ though to hit. So this is making sure shrapnel is getting through and hitting them. So we have 1, 2, those have fallen off. Several through though, which is great. And that +3 or 3+ is good. I think the Imperial Guard are still at a 4+. The Imperial Guard used to have a 3+ with their turret, but that got removed after 9th edition, if I recall. It is a strength 10 weapon versus toughness 5, as I stated. So this is going to be 2s to wound. Oh, perfect. So only 1 fell off. This is looking good. It is a -1 to AP, so not the best armor penetration. That's going to be 6 attacks that have to be saved, though. So I'm just going to grab my purple and pink dice here. So these are the 6 to save. It is a -1, so this brings up the Flawless Blades to a 4+ save. And they did save quite a few, so there are 4 that are saved. However, this is a blast, so it's exploded. 2 have not been saved. and that is 3 damage per. So we have 3, 6. The Flawless Blades have a total of 9 wounds, so 2 models have been destroyed as per the Castigator Battle Cannon. So I'm just removing those models right now to make sure they're out of the fight. The Castigator is also not done. It has a heavy bolter profile, and I actually have 2 of those that are in range and in line of sight. So we're going to be rolling those next. Heavy bolter is hitting on a 3+. I'll do them at the same time just to speed it up here. So that's fantastic. All 6 shots are through. So that is the hull mounted, and then the sponson mounted on the left side of the tank and on the center of the hull. So all those are through. It is a strength 5 versus toughness 5, so not as good penetration, but it is going to be forced to wound. And more fell off there. Much tougher roll to get than those 2s. As you can see, if we had been firing the Castigator cannon again, there would have been a lot more, but 2 are through. So we're going to pull out our dice here for the save. It's a -1 to AP. That brings the Flawless Blades back up again to the 4+. 1 has been saved. The Flawless Blade got a 6. This, however, has wounded, and it is 2 wounds. So the remaining Flawless Blade is down to 1 wound. And we're going to get up to the Retributors here in just a sec. So a super good round there by the Castigator. We have affected the Flawless Blades quite a bit. Lucius is still going with his full wounds, but I'm hoping the Retributor squad can wipe out the Flawless Blade and maybe do some big damage here to Lucius, because Lucius is super close to getting to hand-to-hand combat with them, so they're just firing away as he's coming towards them. I'm going to start off with the Ministorm Heavy Flamer. This is going to be towards the Flawless Blade again. It is a D6. So 1, that's not good. It hits automatically. Strength 6 versus toughness 5, so 3 to wound. Got that at least. It is a -1 to AP again, so it's a 4+ save for a Flawless Blade. Saved it, so that was a no-go. Next up is going to be the Heavy Bolter that I have in there. It is within 36 inches, so we're good to go there. 3 attacks hitting on a 4+. Bit of a heavier weapon here for the sisters, so you're kind of like chugging away with those big heavy bolts and trying to keep it in place is a little bit harder, but they got them all through. Strength 5, toughness 5, forced to wound. 2 fell off. 1 is through though. This again is going to be a -1 to AP, bringing that Flawless Blade up to a 4+, and he saved it. So I still have my multi-meltas. I saved them for last in hopes that they'd be both used against Lucius, but it looks like I'm going to have to take out that Flawless Blade first. So I'll roll these one at a time. And then we also do have the Retributor Sister Superior with her support weapon. I think it is a combat weapon, so that might be able to do some damage too, but we're going to be doing the first multi-melta hitting on a 4+. It is not within 9 inches, so I don't get the Melta 2. That would have helped significantly. But if I get good rolls here, the Melta and multi-melta are fantastic weapons. So 4+. 1 is through. I'll take it. Strength 9, toughness 5, 3 to wound. Damn it. That one didn't work. Next one is up. This is the last multi-melta, the last heavy weapon of this crew. So looking for 4+. God damn, another one fell off. Got this one. Strength 9, toughness 5, 3 to wound. Got that. Thank goodness we needed that. It is a -4 to AP. The Flawless Blades do have an invulnerable save, so this is going to be a 5 for the Flawless Blade. And he did not save it. It is D6 wounds, and this may actually carry over to Lucius because they are a unit. And it is 5 wounds. So we have the Flawless Blade taken out, and Lucius has been brought down to 2 wounds. So you can just picture this is like a big Melta blap that is hit. If all of those had gone through, it's probably one of the best weapons in the game, but it's very hard to use for a human-sized model that we just saw there with the 4+ and then also the wounding rolls. But we do have one last weapon here, and it is the combat weapon of the Retributor Sister Superior, so that is also hitting on a 4+. Didn't get it. So that's it for that round. I'm going to be doing the rest of the shoots off camera. And then I'll come back and sum all that up. That's going to be the Sanctifiers. And if there's any of the possible Inquisitorial henchmen that are in range, it looks like there might be a heavy plasma gun that could be in range there. The Storm Bolter for the Rhino. And then it's going to be flipping over to hand. So I will do the shoots, come back, show you guys what has happened on the table, sum everything up, and we're going to keep moving through this one into the hand-to-hand combat, which should be fantastic. So summing up the Sisters of Battle shoot for that turn. Start over here because we just finished this one up. It's nice and fresh. The Stormbolter on top of the Sororitas Rhino fired down, and it was able to take 1 wound off of one of the front Emperor's Children models here. The Gun Servitor here with the heavy plasma cannon on the right did have the Noise Marine in range and in line of sight, but was not able to roll high enough. The Sanctifiers actually did a fantastic job with those hand flamers. They were able to kill the 2 Seekers over here, and then also kill 2 more Demonettes on the left. However, the Greater Demon of Slaanesh, Keeper of Secrets, is coming right towards them, and that's not going to end very well, I don't think, but we will see. The Retributor squad here fired into the Flawless Blades. You guys saw that in the tray, and we were able to kill all of the Flawless Blades with the Castigator's assistance. So the Castigator cannon, as well as the heavy bolters fired here. The Retributor squad fired in. I was really hoping to be able to kill Lucius too, but at least the Flawless Blades are gone. So that sums up the shoot. We're now going to be moving into hand-to-hand combat. We have the Celestian Sacrosanct being led by the Hospitaller in here, so I'm hoping that that buffing is going to help out, and if anyone is killed, that they can maybe be brought back as long as the Hospitaller is still alive. And more importantly, my Paragon Warsuits over here against the Fiends is going to be one hell of a scrap. So we're going to get back to the tray. We're going to shoot that and see if these Sisters of Battle can do what they can in hand-to-hand combat. All right, let's get to it. We are now in the tray, going to start up the melee hand-to-hand combat part of this turn. So we're going to begin with the Celestian Sacrosancts here against the Tormentors. Luckily, these aren't the Infractors. The Infractors have a lot of swords and better hand-to-hand attacks, so this was a good move, I think. We'll see how it goes. The Celestian Sacrosancts do have the initiative here too, as they jumped into combat first. So we're going to start off with the Sacrosanct Superior, Spear of the Faithful, 3 attacks hitting on a 3+. Nice, all of those are through. It is a Strength 5 versus Toughness 4, so this is going to be 3s to wound. Got all those too. I do have 1 Miracle Dice as well. It's a 5. I'm going to see if I can maybe save that for the Paragon Warsuits, but I might need it as a save dice. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, let's keep going. So 3 attacks are through. It is a -2 to AP. That brings the Tormentor up to a 6+, 5+ save, because they do not have an invulnerable. So let's see if they have a Feel No Pain. I don't think they do. Nope. So we do have 1 save here with the 5, and then 2 are through, and it is 2 damage per. So that is actually 2 of the Tormentors that have been killed in hand-to-hand combat by the Sister Superior there for the Sacrosancts. We're going to keep going here. The reason that I brought in my Anointed Halberds, I think is what they're called, is because they do have a higher strength, and against these Chaos Space Marine models, pretty good. They also have Hallowed Maces, and I do have a unit of them, but it is strength 4, so not as strong. I'll see if I bring them in later in the Crusade, but for now we're definitely using these guys, and they're doing great so far. So I'll roll each of the 4 remaining Sisters, and then the Hospitaller as well if required, but this is the first, so we're looking for 3 pluses. So 2 of those failed. That sucks. Here's the next one. 2 of those are through. 1 is off. 1 is off. And then we're coming up to the last Sister here with the Anointed Halberd. And that last one was all through. So you can see them just like trying to stab and slash at these Tormentor, Emperor Children, Chaos Space Marines. So all of these have gone through. They have hit. Now we have to see if they're going to actually wound. And it is a Strength 5 versus Toughness 4, so we need 3s to wound here. Ay, ay, ay. My shitty rolls continue for any Imperium force. It's craziness. So out of that, we had 3 that made it through. All I needed was 3s. Didn't get it. You know what I might do? I'm actually going to remove this guy. I'm going to bring it in now. So there's an extra attack that's gone through. That's my Miracle Dice. And it is a -2 to AP, so I think this is important. I really hope the Paragon Warsuits didn't need it, but we'll see in just a sec when we get over to them. So 4 attacks have gone through. It is -2 to AP. That is going to bring the Tormentors up to a 5+ save. And 1 was saved, so there's our 5. And then 3 have gone through at 1 damage apiece. So that's the difference. The Hallowed Mace has 2 damage. The Anointed Halberd has 1. So that is 3 wounds that are through. That kills 1 more Tormentor model and leaves another wounded with 1 wound left. So I'm just going to remove those models right now off the board, taking their bolt gun variants out. The Hospitaller is all we have left here. So I'm really hoping that she's going to be able to do something here. I don't think she's got the best hand-to-hand, but let's see what she's got here in her profile. So the Triurgen's tools, so that's not too bad. We'll take it. It is 3 attacks hitting on a 4+. All through. Nice. Good job, Hospitaller. Strength 3, though. Toughness 4. It's going to be a 5s to wound. Ooh, she's doing pretty good. So there's 2 that are through there. 0 to AP, so it's going to be regular saves here. Need 3s for the Tormentors. And there it is. So that last Tormentor that was wounded by the Halberd has lost that wound, and the Celestian Sacrosanct have killed another Marine, Chaos Space Marine. So that leaves 5 Chaos Space Marines remaining to fight back here. I'm going to just get that set up here in just a sec, make sure I have their profile up, and we'll get rolling on that right away. All right, so here comes the counterattack from the Tormentor, Emperor's Children, Chaos Space Marines. Just checking the profiles there and also the unit to see what they have. So the Tormentor champion, or would have been former Space Marine Sergeant, has a Rupture Lash. It is 6 attacks hitting on a 3+. Okay, half fell off there. That is helping out. This is a Strength 4 versus Toughness 3. It's going to be 3s to wound. And 1 fell off again, so that's great for the sisters. 2 are through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings our Celestian Sacrosanct up to a 4+ invulnerable. 1 was saved. 1, however, was not. So we got a 3. I do not have an extra dice there to do anything. I'm just going to see if the Hospitaller gave them that Feel No Pain. I think it does. So that might be able to save that wound. Yeah, so Medicus Ministorum, while this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 5+. So if this is a 5 or more, that wound is saved. If not, I'm losing a Celestian Sacrosanct here. And didn't. Just barely lost. So that is 1 Celestian Sacrosanct down. She might be back there with the Hospitaller's abilities. And now it is moving on, however, to the Tormentor Marines. And they have a lot of attacks. Luckily, those Celestian Sacrosancts do have that 4+ invulnerable, so that is good. It's going to be close combat weapons, so 3 times 4, we're grabbing 12 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Just count them up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. Close combat weapons hitting on a 3+. These are still 1 superhuman Space Marine, so they are pretty damn good with their weapon skill and ballistic skills. So here we go, looking for 3s. Also just checking their abilities here. Objectives defiled. That's more for an objectives game, so that'll be okay. So any 3s here are good. Anything lower is being removed. So there we go. It is a Strength 4, which is the strength of those Tormentors, versus a Toughness of 3. It's going to be 3s to wound. Ooh, a couple more fell off. That's good. It's a lot to save, though. So we have 2, 4, 6 attacks that have gone through. Switch the dice out here for red so we can differentiate. This is going to be 0 AP, so our Celestian Sacrosancts are getting the regular 3+ save. Okay, that's a 6 or a 4, so that one's good. However, we got 3 2s. I can roll for the Feel No Pain, though, as you're being led by a Hospitaller. So if any of these turn into a 5, they're saved. That was great. So these 2 were saved with that Feel No Pain. 1 more Celestian Sacrosanct has died. but that extra feel no pain being added by the Hospitaller is a fantastic addition. So that battle there has concluded. I'll be moving over to the Paragon Warsuits versus the Fiends here in just a sec, and those Paragon Warsuits do have the initiative, so they're going to be fighting first. Just get out of the trailer for a sec to break this up. So that is the outcome of the first melee hand-to-hand combat there. So we had half of the Tormentors being lost. They're down to 5. And in return, we had 2 Celestian Sacrosancts that were killed, but they might be able to come back here with that Hospitaller leading them. Very, very good unit as well. I need to keep that Hospitaller alive as long as I can. And if the Celestian Sacrosancts do go down in the future, I'm hoping I can move her maybe over to the Retributors or whatever's left here. The Hospitaller does not affect models that are not Battle Sisters, so she wouldn't be able to help Imperial Guardsmen or Inquisitorial Henchmen, but for now, she's still with some Celestian Sacrosancts, and we're moving over across the field there to the Paragon Warsuits versus the Fiends of Slaanesh. I'm very excited to get this one going. This is what the Paragon Warsuits are for. It's to strengthen those Battle Sisters up to a larger frame, to take on demons and bigger models. So the Fiends, I'm hoping, will be a perfect kind of competition here for them. So it's 4 attacks, hitting on a 3+. Just going to check their abilities here really quick while we're live. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, the target's a monster or vehicle. Let's see if these guys are considered monsters. They're not. So they're not big enough to be considered monsters, but you would add 1 to the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll. That would be good. So if I can keep these Paragon Warsuits alive to maybe take on the Greater Demon of Slaanesh, that might work. Anyways, these are all through. So that is great. It is Strength 8 versus Toughness 5. This is going to be 3s to wound. Come on. I don't have any more Miracle Dice either. So there we go. 3 are through. It is a -2 to AP. That brings the Fiend up to their 5+ invulnerable. Hey, that's what we're looking for. So this has been a very good round so far. I hope it continues. It is 2 damage per, so that is 2, 4, 6 damage from the Paragon Warblade, and that has killed one of the Fiends as it was wounded. So I'm just adding it up here, and left another Fiend with 1 wound. So that is great. I'm just going to remove that model so I don't forget. When I get kind of moving and hyper here, I sometimes forget to remove the models. So there we go. Next one up is going to be the Paragon War Mace from the other Paragon Warsuit sister, hitting on a 3+. Ah, that sucks. So only 1 is through. I was just starting to hype them up too. I gotta stop doing that. It is a Strength 12 versus Toughness 5, so this is going to be a 2 to wound. Got it. -1 to AP, so that's going to be that 5+ invulnerable. Got it. If not, that would have been 3 wounds through. It is now flipping back over. I was really hoping to kill 2 of the Fiends, but 1 is pretty swifted there. The other has its full 4. And these things, as we saw, are very good in hand-to-hand combat. So I'm just going to grab the dice for it. We'll do this live. This is for the first Fiend. 5 attacks, hitting on a 3+. So 1 fell off. I'll use purple dice for the other one so we can make sure we're telling them apart. 3 pluses again. 2 fell off that time. So these are all through. It's Strength 5 versus Toughness 7, so they're going to need 5s to wound. That one fell out, but it's legit. So we have a 6, a 5, and a 6. Yeah, they needed 5, so these have all fallen off. This is, fingers crossed, looking okay. The big thing is 2 damage per here. Both of the Paragon Warsuits have their 4 wounds, so that's another good thing. Let's do it here. So we have 3 attacks through. It is a -2 to AP. That brings our Paragon Warsuits up to a 4+ save. So here we go. Oh, man. You can't make this up. It's crazy. So we have 2, 4, 6 wounds that have gone through. That means that another Paragon Warsuit has gone down, and the Sister Superior in the last one has 2 wounds remaining. This is starting to look a lot like my Ogrins. If you guys want to check out my Astra Militarum campaign that I did for the Crusade, it's on one of our playlists. The Ogrins were kind of one of my only big, heavy hand-to-hand combat units. and they had a lot of heavy lifting, and they were trying to take out some enemies. Didn't get great rolls like we're getting right now, and they were getting kind of wiped out. And the big thing here is like I can still win this battle if the Inquisitor gets to the landing pad, but how many battle scars am I going to take before that happens? So right now we have one Battle Sister squad out. We almost have the Paragon Warsuit unit dead. So we're going to keep rolling here. That is it currently for the Sisters of Battle, and we're going to be flipping back over to Slaanesh. So I'm going to be doing their move, and then I'll come back and show you guys what has happened there. So that was a pretty damn good turn from the Adepta Sororitas. They fought tooth and nail. It's looking like this battle might be slipping out of their hands. Lucius was within range to be able to jump into hand-to-hand combat with the Sacrosancts, and the remaining Tormentors are also in hand-to-hand combat with the Sacrosancts. I'm not able to do the Hospitaler's ability to bring back any models until my command phase, so they have to survive this onslaught. And with Lucius in there, I don't know. We'll have to see. The Land Raider has come up over a wall and is facing off the Castigator now. If you guys know Land Raiders, the las cannons are devastating against tanks. And I have seen las cannons turn a Rogel Dorn into kind of a tin can and just can opened it right up. So we're going to see if the Castigator can survive this onslaught of las gun and heavy bolter blasts coming from the Land Raider. The Land Raider had to get into line of sight and range, so it just decided to take it right up over the wall. Over here, the Retributor squad also has their hands full with the remaining Demonettes. The Demonettes do have the fight first ability, but they have the initiative here, so that is already going to happen there. And then we have the Keeper of Secrets that has gone into hand-to-hand combat with the Sanctifiers. If by some chance those Sanctifiers survive, it's going to be an absolute miracle. There's always like an Imperial Guard rating per kind of demon models as well as demon Primarch models. Don't know how they would do against Sanctifiers, but woof. In the Rhino here, the Noise Marines, I'll just show you guys in the box, are inside of it right now, getting in for better range to start taking their Sonic Blasters and whatnot against the Inquisitorial Hunchmen. The Fiends see that the Paragon Warsuit is struggling. It's down to 2 wounds. They decided to jump it. The Magifier's in behind, watching what's going to unfold there. And then over on this side, try to keep this on the table, the Infractors have moved up, not quite in range for hand-to-hand combat, but they're going to be able to put a whole bunch of bolt pistols, plasma pistol ×2 against the Sororitas Rhino, so I'm hoping it can survive those attacks as well, because if not, it does have 5 Battle Sisters and Canoness Vihin, which is the warlord for this force, in there. That's the reason that they went in there, was to kind of weather some of this fire that's going to be coming in from bolt pistols and plasma pistols. The Inquisitor and his henchmen are still at full strength here. We did have the one gun servitor fire in, nothing happened, but there's going to be a lot more Slaaneshian and Chaos Space Marine models within range here, hopefully this turn. We just have to make sure that there's enough of a force here to peel back to the Alamo to be able to defend the Inquisitor, because this is only the turn 2 for the Emperor's Children. So let's see how it goes. So I'm going to do a lot of the shoots off camera here. There's not too many shoots actually going on, because a lot of, well, the Tormentors will be quite a bit, but, or the Infractors, I forget, I keep messing those two up, the ones with the swords and the bolt pistols. And then the Rhino is able to shoot as well. So there'll be a couple of shoots, but I wanted to start off with a tank on tank here. I'm hoping by some chance the Castigator can survive this, but the Chaos Land Raider, as I said, those las cannons are devastating. So we're going to start off with the Soul Shatter las cannons. I'll use different colored dice here for each one. So it's 2 attacks per. So this is the first. It's hitting on a 3+. Both are through for the first. Here's for the second. And 1 fell off. That's good. The strength is strength 12 against the Castigator's toughness 10. This is going to be 3s to wound. Okay, another one fell off. Not too bad. 2 are definitely through. It is a -3 to AP, which brings the Castigator up to its 6+ invulnerable save. And neither were saved, and I do not have any kind of miracle dice saved up. So this is going to be D6 +1 damage. So if both of these go through, it's very possible that this could be the end of the Castigator, and if they both roll 6s. So we're going to see how much damage is coming. I'll roll them one at a time. So that's 2 wounds, and that is, 2 damage and 5, so that's 7 damage to the Castigator. It goes from 10 wounds down to 3 wounds. I'm just indicating that on the token, so that is, it's devastating, those las cannons. Not done yet either. There's still the twin heavy bolters that are up on the kind of, I guess, the pilot's area on the Land Raider. So I'll grab 2 dice for that. It's actually 3 dice. So twin heavy bolter, this is twin link 2, so I can reroll the wound roll. So this is 3 pluses to hit. All are through. It is strength 5, toughness 10. Going to need 6s to wound here, but I can reroll this. So 1 is through, and only 1 remains through. So that is a -1 to AP. Bring out the save dice here. That's a 4+ for the Castigator. Come on, Castigator. And he saved it, or she saved it. So that's fantastic. That is the only shoot that I'll do on camera for this one. I'll do everything off camera and then come back and show you how many of the battle sister models remain. And then we will get into hand-to-hand combat. I'm just looking here to the Rhino that has the Noise Marines in it right now actually has a Havoc launcher on it, and that is in line of sight, and I'm almost positive that it's within range of the Inquisitor and his Inquisitorial henchmen. So this could end really quick if they start to get some wounds peeled off there and his kind of henchmen around him start to dwindle. But I'll do that off camera, come right back and show you guys the outcome of everything. So here is the shoot sum up from that turn for the Emperor's Children. That is the end of turn 2 for both forces, moving into turn 3 here after the after the hand-to-hand, so we're not quite done yet. All of the Infractors and the Lord Exultant fired upon the Sororitas Rhino. Nothing was done to it, so that was a really good move, putting those remaining Battle Sisters in there with the Cannon S for a little bit of extra protection. And the Rhino here as well has a bolt pistol. I didn't give it a storm bolt or anything like that, so he fired as well and nothing occurred. Down here, the Inquisitor actually lost one of his scribes that was right here. One of these models are actually pretty cool. They're in a lot of the just the graphic like books and stuff for the rules and things, so very cool. But one of them was killed, and that came from the Havoc launcher of this Rhino here that has the Noise Marines in it. So he has lost one of his henchmen. Over here, we saw what happened to the Castigator. It is down to 3 wounds. It's probably got the penalty as well due to the, I think it's usually 1 to 4 wounds. It's kind of stumbling along. Its hit roll also gets affected, so that is not going to be good. I have to try to get this thing away, though, to move out and maybe try to put some fire down on some infantry units before it is wiped out by this Land Raider. Land Raiders are perfect tank killers, and as I said, I've seen it shred apart a Rogel Dorn. I have not seen them against the Baneblade yet, but I think it would probably be a very similar outcome. Don't know why my camera's getting... It's going out of focus, it looks like, from here. The Noise Marines over here were not able to shoot because everyone that is in line of sight and range was either in hand-to-hand combat or was blocked. So we do get to the hand-to-hand combat now. We have the Demonettes versus the Retributors. We have the Keeper of Secrets versus the Sanctifiers. And down there we have the Fiends versus the last Paragon Warsuit, which is also heavily wounded with 2 wounds remaining and the rest of its squad being dead. However, I do get that miracle dice roll, so we're going to do that. The Imagifier is still here too. I need to get these guys moved and pulled back to the Alamo as best I can. Hop out and continue to put fire down. So I'm going to do some strategy here for the Sisters of Battle, and I will come right back and show you guys their movement and let you know what I rolled for the miracle dice. Yes, getting ahead of myself. Not quite the end of turn 2 here. We still have the hand-to-hand combat. So I'm going to start off with the Keeper of Secrets versus the Sanctifiers. I don't think the Sanctifiers have much of a chance here, but let's see what they can do. There's many profiles here as well for the Keeper of Secrets. It is not choose one. It is literally you can do all of them. So there's the Ritual Knife, there's the Snapping Claws, and the Wit Sealer Sword. So we're going to get to the Ritual Knife first. Roll those. It is hitting on a 2+. These are considered extra attacks, so those are all through. I'll roll different dice here for each weapon just so we can see. Snapping Claws are 4 attacks hitting on a 2+. All of those are through. And last but not least, we have the Wit Sealer Sword, which is 6 attacks. This thing might be better than Fulgrim. I pulled Fulgrim out because I thought he'd be flying all over the board. He can fly, I think, a bit further, but this thing moves 14 inches. Little lesser toughness too, and not as great a save, but holy shit, the hand-to-hand combat on it. So this is 2 pluses as well to wound. And only 1 has fallen off throughout all of those. So this, I'm just going to pull these over here to make sure, because each one has a different, 2 of them have the same strength profile, and then 1 has a different. So we'll start off with the Ritual Knife, which was this. It is strength 6 against toughness 3, 2s to wound. All those are through once again. The Snapping Claws, strength 6 versus toughness 3, so 2s to wound. All of those are through. And last but not least, the Wit Sealer Sword, strength 8 versus toughness 3, 2s to wound. And all of those are through. So this is not good. I'm just going to count up the attacks here. So we have 4, 8, 12. Switch out for the red dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I was saying the Paragon Warsuits might even be able to take this thing, but I don't think so. Unless they got the initiative by some chance, maybe. So all of them have a -2 to AP, so that makes this good because I just bunched them into one pile. I shouldn't have done that before I checked that, but it worked out. The Sanctifiers do have a 5+ and vulnerable. I'm going to see if they have a Feel No Pain. I don't think they do. No, they do not. So I have no Miracle Dice yet because that has to be rolled in the turn. So this is going to be 5 pluses here for the Sanctifiers. And as you can see, absolute garbage roll. So we have a 6. 1 was saved. And each of these, the Ritual Knife alone has 2 attacks per. The Snapping Claws have 3, and the Wit Sealer Sword have 3. So let's just say that these are 2, just to keep it conservative and easy. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. That's enough to kill the Sanctifiers probably twice or 3 times over. So the Sanctifiers have all been lost. We're going to move over now to the Retributors versus the Demonettes. And then to finish it up, the Paragon Warsuit versus the Fiends. So even though the Sanctifiers are not really attached to the Adepta Sororitas army I have here, I brought them in as kind of a support force to build the narrative. There is the Axe of Faith tied to them, so they have been lost. I'm going to roll a Miracle Dice for them and see what we get. A 5, that's great. I still have to do that as well for the beginning of the turn, so hoping for a super high roll there also. Next fight, though, is the Demonettes. The Demonettes have a strength of 4, so not fantastic. Against Space Marines, the Space Marines would do okay. Since the Sisters of Battle have a toughness of 3, this might be much worse for them. So we're going to get going here. There's still 3 Demonettes remaining, which is a total of 9 attacks. So I'll use all my different colored dice here again. So it's hitting on a 3+, 9 attacks total. And another very good roll for Slaanesh. So I'm rolling super well again for the enemies, as I usually do, if you guys have seen a lot of my other battles, Last Stand, everything else. So again, this is that strength 4 versus toughness 3, 3s to wound. Okay, a couple fell off there, so that's good. These are all through though, so we have 2, 4, 5 attacks that are through. I'm going to grab 5 of our red dice here. Oof, here we go. So this is -1 to AP. The Retributor squad is going to have 4+ saves. 1 damage per that is not saved. So here we go. Okay, so we have 3 saved. There are 2 that have gone through. So 2 of the Retributors have died. And now it's going to flip back over, and the Retributors are going to be able to do a counterattack. So I'm just going to remove those 2 models, and we'll get to it. And hopefully the Retributors can get some retribution. Retribution time. Let's see what these Retributors can do. So I removed the Heavy Bolter and the Heavy Flamer. I need to keep those 2 multi-meltas going. If they can survive this, the Retributors have the Keeper of Secrets to the right of them, and to the left is the Land Raider. So they're definitely between a rock and a hard place. But those multi-meltas are going to be necessary to deal any kind of wounds here, especially if I get good rolls. So I really hope that they can kill these Demonettes off. The first one is the Retributor Superior, so it is a power weapon. It's a power mace hitting on a 4+. Both are through. That's great. I can also bring in that 5. Might want to save that though. The Sacrosancts still have to go ahead, as does the Paragon Warsuit. So I was just over there and I saw that Lucius is still in there with the Hospitaller and the Sacrosancts. So we're going to roll that too. It's going to be a little bit of dice time here in the tray, but this is again the meat and potatoes of Warhammer 40k. So you guys want to see these rolls. Anyways, those 2 are through. That's fantastic. It is strength 4 versus toughness 3. 3's to wound. 1 fell off. -2 to AP. That has the Demonette up to a 5+ save. It rolled a 1, and that is 1 damage. So the Superior has avenged her sisters and killed one of the Demonettes of Slaanesh. There's still the 2 other Retributors, and they have their close combat weapons. Got to roll well here. It's not like the Space Marines where they have 3 attacks with this. It's just 2, 1 each. So hitting on a 4+. Got it. And got it. So those 2 are through. It is strength 3 versus toughness 3, force to wound. I am going to take this out. I need these Demonettes dead, and I'm going to play the Miracle Dice that I just rolled there for the loss of the Sanctifiers. So those 2 are through. It is 0 to AP, but the Demonettes do not have a great save. So it is going to be a 5+ invulnerable here. 1 has saved it, 1 has not. So they have killed all but 1 Demonette. I'm going to have to think about what I'm doing here, because they might have to do a sacrifice before either getting jumped again in hand-to-hand combat. But at least they have killed 2 of them. No points yet either. Oh yeah, no, the Fiends were killed. So I have to, like with Crusade, it's tricky because you have to continue to track your battle scar points and also your experience, like victory points as you kill units. The Fiends were killed by... I might have to go back, and when I start editing this, I'll figure that out and give that point to whoever did it. But yeah, they were definitely killed by somebody. It might have been the Sanctifiers, actually. It was. So that sucks because the Sanctifiers are not part of this unit. So there's going to be no experience for that. Anyways, I'm going to roll now for the Celestian Sacrosancts versus Lucius and the Emperor's Children Marines, and then the Fiends versus the Paragon Warsuit, and we'll do that one at a time. But I'll just take a shot of the table here to show you guys those fights before we get into them, just to break this up. So there to start it off is the Keeper of Secrets. Greater Demon of Slaanesh killed all of the Sanctifiers in hand-to-hand. The Retributors are now wounded as well. They have 3 models remaining from their original 5. There's no hero model there to kind of soup them up. However, if the Sacrosancts go down and the Hospitaller is still alive, I might try to get her to book it over because she can lead a Retributor squad. And I just hope that she'll be able to buff them out a bit. She also has 3 wounds, so a little bit more staying power. And if somehow these Sacrosancts can survive all these attacks coming in, get a counterattack, maybe kill another couple of models, I can hopefully bring some back with my Miracle Dice roll if I roll it well. Over here, we also are just about to get to this one. It is the Paragon Warsuit versus the 2 Slaaneshian Fiends. I really hope here as well. The Paragon Warsuit has 2 wounds left, really beat up, smoke's coming out of its, back generator system, and it's just going to be swinging here until the end to hopefully take these out. But we're going to get to the tray again right now and see how that all unfolds. And this might be the deciding melee hand-to-hand combat for the battle. So over to the tray, it's going to be Slaanesh with the initiative, and then if there's any models remaining, the Battle Sisters will be able to counterattack. Okay, so we're going to start up with this Paragon Warsuit on the left, and then we'll move over to the Sacrosancts and the Hospitaller. So the Fiends, there's still 2 of them here, even though they're not healthy. One has 1 wound, one has full wounds. They get their full attacks. So this is going to be 10 attacks in total. I'll grab different colored dice here so we know which one is doing what. So we'll start off here. It is the Barbed Tail and Dissecting Claws hitting on a 3+. All through. Here's the other one. 1 fell off. That is not good for the Paragon Warsuit. It is his strength 5 attack. All of those versus toughness 7. Those. This is going to be 5 to wound. Come on, Paragon Warsuit. Okay, that's not too bad. So we had 1 go through, 2 go through. It is a 5. Just wanted to make sure. So these are all out. 2 attacks have gone through. It may still be enough, but we're going to see. So the attack is a -2 to AP. That brings the Paragon Warsuit up to its 4+ invulnerable. Saved both. Wow. If it had not, even if one of those had gone through, that would have been the end of the Paragon Warsuit. So this counterattack is happening. The Paragon Warsuit Superior is still fighting, and if she takes these out somehow here, it's possible that this is going to be our first victory point, experience point, whatever you want to call it there. I have to check the actual name for it, but it is the Paragon Warblade. So this is the Paragon Warsuit counterattacking, hitting on a 3+. So 2 fell off, not great. It is strength 8 versus toughness 5, 3s to wound. Both are through, 3 and a 6. -2 to AP. That brings the fiends up to their 5+ invulnerable. Failed both, and it is 2 damage per. So that has killed. Yeah, so we had 1, 4. It is 2, 4. So there is 2 wounds left on 1. I just want to make sure I'm doing the math here. It was 4 and 1. I removed the damn token before it was too late. So this one's dead for sure. So one of the fiends is dead. Okay. And the other had 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last one actually has 1 wound remaining. Just doing the math here. So an amazing outcome for a Paragon Warsuit. It was able to take all the fiend's attacks and then do a very potent counterattack, a big swipe with that Paragon Warblade, and killed one of the fiends and left the other one with 1 wound remaining. So I'm going to have to see what I want to do with that, because also beside the Paragon Warsuit is that Rhino. The Paragon Warsuit Superior has a heavy bolter. The 2 multi-meltas are gone. So I'll see what I can do. Also, I have to think about those experience points too, so I might want to try to kill that fiend with a ranged attack next time. Don't want to maybe chance it with the hand-to-hand, but we'll see. Anyways, I'm just going to get over to the other side here, and we're going to start the Lucius fight with the Tormentors versus the Celestine Sacrosancts and the Hospitaller. If there is any model out here that can survive this, it is the Celestine Sacrosancts with that Hospitaller. The Hospitaller is also giving them that 5+ feel no pain. I just want to double check to make sure that it is 5+ to make this as fair as possible. So yes, the Medicus Ministorum gives the models a feel no pain 5+. That's going to almost be a secondary save after they're invulnerable, which may be needed. So the first attack coming in here is going to be the Rapture Lash, which is the Tormentor Champion's weapon. It is 6 attacks coming in, hitting on a 3+. Okay, half fell off. That's amazing. Great for our Battle Sisters. It is strength 4, toughness 3, 3s to wound. Another one fell off. 2 are through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings the Sacrosancts up to their 4+ invulnerable. So 1 saved right away. This I can do my feel no pain. I need a 5 or a 6 here. So one of them has died from the Rapture Lash. I'm just going to remove the model so I can remember that. Now they have to survive the remaining close combat attacks here from the Tormentors, and then also Lucius. So fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes here. The close combat weapons is going to be 3, 6, 12 attacks total. So they have 3 attacks each, and there are 4 models that are doing that. So it's 12. Counting up my dice. There you go. These are chunky dice too. I don't have the biggest hands, so hopefully this will roll okay. So 3 pluses here. Wow, good roll. So I'm going to remove 1, 1, 2. These are all through. It is a strength 4 versus toughness 3 again, 3s to wound. Okay, a few fell off. The Emperor is shining down on his Sisters of Battle here. So there are 4 that are through. Grab 4 save dice. There is no AP here, so it's the regular Sacrosanct save of 3+. Okay, so 3 were saved. This one as well, I can do the feel no pain. and they picked it up. So that is fantastic. There has been 1 Sacrosanct lost, 2 remain, however, and now they just have to get by Lucius. I am going to be allocating these wounds to the Sacrosancts first, since this is a unit and I can do that as I am the Adepta Sororitas player at the moment, receiving those attacks. Lucius is fucking amazing in hand-to-hand combat, though. He has 2 insane weapons, no range, but he has his Blade of the Lair, which is 6 attacks, and then Lash of Torment, which is 10 attacks. So the Blade of the Lair is a strength 8, and the Lash of Torment is a strength 4. So we're going to get this started with the Blade of Lair, and let's just see if these sisters can take a bit more damage here to continue to survive. Shit, it's a precision weapon. That means that since the Hospitaler's there, Lucius can actually bypass where I want these allocated and allocate them to the Hospitaler. So the Blade of Lair is going to be going against the Hospitaler. I'm going to bring her profile up here on the app to make sure that I got all of her stuff up. I'm not sure if she gets the Feel No Pain. I think it's only if she's leading a unit. Yeah, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 5+. So here we go. This is going on the Hospitaler. I need 2 pluses here to wound for Lucius. 1 did fall off, so it's not the worst case scenario. It's better than having them all go through. It is strength 8 versus toughness 3, 2s to wound. Another 1 fell off. These are through. It's going to be 4 saves for our Hospitaler. It is a -3 to AP, which brings the Hospitaler up to that 6+ invulnerable. And 3 damage per. So that is the end of our Hospitaler. That is 3, 6, 9 wounds to her. That sucks. I do get to roll a miracle dice, so I'll do that live right now. And it's a 5. That's really good. Might be able to use that as a save. We'll have to see. So the Hospitaler has gone down. I was really hoping to be able to use her to buff out that Retributor squad. The Sacrosancts are now alone. There's only 2 models left. They still have to survive the rest of Lucius's attacks, and there's no way to bring them back, as that was the Hospitaler's ability, and she has been killed. So in a sec here, we're going to get to Lucius's remaining attacks. I'm just going to mark down that a Battle Scar is needed to be given to the Hospitaler, just so I'm recording that in the moment. All right, so we're going to keep going ahead here. This might be the end of our Celestian Sacrosancts. They do not have the Feel No Pain ability anymore because that Hospitaler has died, and they're not going to be able to be brought back. So let's see if the Emperor's Grace is on them, and we'll see if they can survive this. This is the Lash of Torment, 10 attacks, hitting on a 2+. Ooh, lots of 1s. That's good. So we had 4 1s out of that. Not as high as strength, so it's strength 4 versus toughness 3. Still going to be 3s to wound. Against Space Marines, that'd be great, but this guy here, I'm going to reroll because it could be a 3 or a 1. However, these have fallen off for sure. We're going to reroll this. It's a 1, so that also fell off. There's 2 that have gone through. I'm going to bring out 2 dice here. This one is a -1 to AP, so that is the 4+ for the Celestian Sacrosancts, and it's 1 damage per. So, wow. Lucius has killed all but 1 Celestian Sacrosanct. She is the only model left. I'm going to keep it as the Sacrosanct Superior. She is literally by herself on an island versus 5 Tormentors and Lucius the Eternal, but she is still fighting, and as the Sisters of Battle do, if she can be martyred, that will be huge, and I will get another dice. It is now finally back over to the Sisters of Battle. I'm just going to look here really quick, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, everything's done. Shoots are done. Hand-to-hand combat's done. It is over to the Sisters of Battle now, and they are going to move. I have to look at some strategy here, really think about what I want to do, and from there, get this game going. And I'll come back and show you guys are moving just a sec. Sisters of Battle move for turn 3 is done. We're going to get to the shoots here, then hand-to-hand. The Celestian Sacrosanct Superior, who is the last model surviving from that unit, has decided to go in to the fray of Tormentors here. I didn't want to take on Lucius, as Lucius is not attached to a unit right now, and he would get the fight's first ability, so she decided to take the Emperor's Faith and go right in. Worst comes to worst there, I do get at least a miracle dice from it. Moving down the line here, the Castigator has broken away from the Land Raider. It probably means that will be its downfall, but it wanted to get the Castigator cannon as well as all of its heavy bolters onto the Keeper of Secrets. The Retributor Squad 2, the remaining 3, the double multi-meltas, and the Superior with the combi weapon are also going to be firing at the Keeper of Secrets. The entire line for the Inquisitorial Henchmen are also going to be firing at the Keeper of Secrets. So there's another multi-melta there. There's a heavy plasma, some shotguns, some auto pistols, stuff like that, anything in range. Down here, the Rhino moved backwards and led out the remaining 5 Sisters of Battle. They are now being led by the Imagifier, which gives them the invulnerable save, and also any additional rolls there if they do go down. The Canoness has broken away, and she is now going to be a lone model. And they needed to do that to at least put a wall up to be able to defend against these infractors coming in and the Rhino. And then over here, the last one, the Paragon Warsuit moved back to cover the Imagifier's retreat, which moved in behind there. And it is probably going to try to put some heavy bolter rounds down on that Fiend to make sure that it can't get into hand-to-hand combat with any of the lesser strength models and toughness models. I have to remove that. I don't know why that's there. It's 2 wounds. So we're going to get over to the shoots now. I think I'll roll those all off camera to get this video to be a little bit shorter. I think it's probably going pretty long. When I edit, I'll try to cut out some stuff. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how the shoots go. And there's a lot of sister battles still in range here. And then we'll get onto the noble hand-to-hand combat there from the Celestian Sacrosanct to finish this off. But let's get to the shoots first. Come back and show you guys what the Sisters of Battle have managed to do. Oh yes, just before I start the shoots, I did roll the miracle dice there at the start of the turn. I got a 6, and then that 5 was previous from the Hospitaller going down. This is the casualties so far for our Sisters of Battle. Those Sacrosancts aren't coming back this time, and then at the back here we have the Sanctifiers, one of the Inquisitorial Henchmen. My dog Homer is sort of keeping me company down here, really comfy. And then going into the start of 3 here, this is the kill tally so far, so not too bad. We have almost the whole Demonettes dead. The Fiends are almost dead here. The Seekers are dead. Flawless Blades are dead, but there's still a lot of models left, and that was an almost 2,000 point Slaaneshi Emperor's Children army that started this. But yes, onto the shoots. I'll come back and show you guys what's happened. Halfway through this turn 3 shoot, just wanted to sum it up. So the Fiend has gone down, but it took almost the entire right side of the table to do it. So the Paragon Warsuit could not. I even used the Stormbolter on top of the Rhino. It didn't do it. It was actually one of the sisters here with a bolt gun that was able to fire in and kill it. The Melta is not in range. The Heavy Flamer is not in range. So we'll say maybe the one pointing there is the one that did it. So the Fiend is in 24 inches. They did it. That is an experience unit kill point for the Battle Sisters. The Canoness tried to use her plasma pistol on the Emperor's Children on the left there, the Infractor. It didn't do anything either, so I'm really hoping these rolls start to turn around, especially now, because there is pretty much the remainder of my force firing in on the Keeper of Secrets. The Keeper of Secrets has knocked over the sort of Sanctifier statue there that is all holy and some kind of Battle Sister saint of old. The Keeper of Secrets is showing that it is ready to go, and it is going to be taking a lot of firepower here. Let's hope that the Emperor is looking down upon his Inquisitor and his Sisters of Battle, and that they can fell this thing, and it would be a huge feather in their cap. So I'm going to go to the tray. I'm going to roll in there. I will come back and show you guys if they've been able to kill the Keeper of Secrets or at least wound it. So the entire Alamo back wall here fired into the Keeper of Secrets that had not fired yet. They did very, very well. It was brought down to 6 wounds. They couldn't kill it, but that is a very good start, and hopefully they can finish it off next turn, mattering how many are alive. It is going back to the hand-to-hand now to finish this one up. That is the Sacrosanct versus the Tormentors. She does have the initiative there. She's going to be attacking. We'll see how that goes. Still have to survive this turn and then 2 more to get the Inquisitor to the landing pad to be flown away in the Valkyrie. So it's going to come right down to it. This next turn, I think, is going to be pretty pivotal here. If the Emperor's Children can kill a lot of the models here, that might be the end of it. But we'll keep going. And if the Emperor, is looking down upon these Sisters of Battle, hopefully they can defend the Inquisitor and get him off the planet. So here we go. Let's see if this turns into martyrdom here. The Celestine Sacrosanct Superior with the Spear of the Faithful is attacking first against these Tormentors, hitting on a 3+. One did not go through. I actually used one of my Miracle Dice last turn to make sure one of my multi-meltas wounded the Keeper's Secret, so I don't have any of those left either. So this is just the Sacrosanct with all the faith she has left in her fighting. 3s to wound. Another one falls off. She's tired. She's beat up. She's all cut up. No squad around her anymore. Let's see if she can at least take out one of these Tormentors. It is a 3+, 5+ save, -2 to AP. And the Tormentor was able to save it. So she thrust with all her might. It wasn't enough. It is switching back over to them now. We're going to start with the Rapture Lash. So this is the counterattack from the Emperor's Children Tormentors, hitting on a 3+. 2 fell off. Strength 4 against toughness 3. This is going to be 3s to wound. Ooh, a lot fell off there. Not too bad. 1 is through. The Rapture Lash has the -1 to AP. So this brings the Sacrosanct up to her 4+ invulnerable. And she did not save it. So that was 1 damage through. The Sisters only have 1 wound apiece. She has been slain. That means that is another battle scar for the Sisters of Battle. And I have to roll the Miracle Dice here. So let's hope for a high roll. Not going to be able to re-roll this one, but let's see what we can do. And it's a 6. It's pretty crazy. Every single, and not to jinx anything here, but every single one of my Miracle Dice roll has been a 5 or higher. So I can swap this in, and that might make all the difference in the next turn. If I can get another multi-melta to fire and take down this Keeper of Secrets, or maybe put some damage on the Land Raider or something. So that is it. I'm going to mark a battle scar for the Celestine Sacrosancts. There's been a lot of battle scars delivered. I don't know if this was the best starter battle for the Battle Sisters, but I kind of wanted to lead in from my previous Cadian Crusade into this, and it was kind of the perfect gateway for that. So it is back over to the Emperor's Children now, and I think it's just a matter of time until these Sisters of Battle succumb, but we'll see what happens. So the defense is starting to close in on itself. The Emperor's Children, with that fantastic move profile, have really sped up here and moved up, kind of closing in the remaining defenders. So this is what the table is looking like right now. I'll try to get an aerial view as I'm holding the camera here. So starting over here, we have the Infractors who have come around the corner. They have the Canoness as well as those Battle Sisters in range. The Rhino's blocking a few of their shots, but there should still be some line of sight there with the bolt pistols. The Canoness might be going down here, but she would rather go down first than her Battle Sisters, so we'll see how that goes. The Paragon Warsuit is in trouble. The Noise Marines have jumped out of the Rhino, and they're all going to be firing upon that this turn. It only has 2 wounds remaining. The Lone Demonette is right out in front, ready to hop on one of those gun servitors, so hopefully they can take it out because it does not have a range attack. The Keeper of Secrets has gone in against the Retributors, so that 6 I rolled with my Miracle Dice may not be able to be used for the multi-meltas. And then the Castigator here, which is kind of their last big artillery tank piece that has some power, is it's got the Land Raider on its 6, so that is not good. I still have my Hunter Killer Missile there too. I wanted to try to save it. I probably should have used it last turn. So if by some chance the Castigator can survive this, I'm going to try to do that. We're going to get to the shoots now though, and we will see how many Battle Sisters are still alive, and if the Inquisitor and his henchmen survive as well. This could very well be one of the last turns of the game, and the battlefield is literally just around the Wall of Martyrs here, and it is fitting as the Sisters of Battle may be turned into martyrs very soon. So over to the dice tray, I'm going to roll. I'll come back and show you guys what has happened with the shoots, and then we're going to get into the hand-to-hand combats on the table because that's going to be interesting. Just to speed up the video, but I'll definitely come back and sum up the shoots maybe in 1 or 2 different takes. So I wasn't thinking I was going to show any shoots, but this might actually be kind of dramatic. This is going to be the infractors firing upon the Canoness, and the Canoness does have the Emperor's Grace, which is once per battle. So this is going to be activated now. At the start of any phase, this model can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, this model has a 2+ invulnerable save. So what better time than to lock it in now? We're going to start off with the champion here for the infractors, plasma pistol. Needs a 3 to hit, got it. Strength 7, toughness 3, 2s to wound, got it. It is a -2 to AP. That brings her Canoness up to her 4+ invulnerable. Saved it. Actually, her 2+ invulnerable, I should say, because of that ability that's locked in right now. Now she's going to have to survive the onslaught of 9 bolt pistols. So I'm just going to grab the dice here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. The other reason and I hope that this isn't the case, I want to roll the cameras. If the Canoness does go down, I get to roll a miracle dice. So that's always good to get on camera. So this is the bolt pistols hitting on a 3+. A few fell off, so we have 3 2s. Those are all done. It is a strength 4 versus toughness 3, 3s to wound. Ooh, more fell off. The Canoness is really being protected. So 3 wounds are through. This is a 2+ invulnerable. She usually has a 3+ save, but with this ability, it's great. Ooh, thank God she had it. That would have been the end of her. So it is 1 damage per. Only 1 wound has gone through. So our Canoness has gone from 4 wounds down to 3 wounds. And that ability has really saved her. So the Emperor's Grace, great time to call it. She has survived that. And she can continue to lead her sisters for at least another turn. I'm going to do the rest of the shoots now off camera for sure. Noise Marines versus the Paragon Warsuit. And then the Land Raider versus the Castigator. So I'll come back and hopefully both those models are still alive, or at least one out of the 2. So this isn't a shoot. I just wanted to roll the miracle dice. The Paragon Warsuit that was remaining has gone down to the Blastmaster single frequency of the Noise Marines. That is a really good weapon. 18 inches, 10 strength, and it ignores cover. So even if there was a model or tank behind cover, this is going to be the miracle dice roll for the Paragon Warsuit, and there's also going to be a battle scar administered to that unit. 3, not as great as my 5s and 6s, but I will take it. That could be a save or a shoot. Yep, so back to it here. I'm going to do the Land Raider now versus the Castigator, and we'll see what happens. Just summing up the shoots here before we go over to the tray for the hand-to-hand. So the Canoness lost a wound to the entire infractor squad firing at her. That's pretty damn good, though. She was able to survive a lot of attacks. The camera's still out of focus. It's weird. The Paragon Warsuit went down to the Noise Marines. The single frequency there was incredible from the Blastmaster. The other huge hit here, the Land Raider with one of its Soul Shatter las cannons, the other one actually didn't fire, was able to take out the Castigator. So I'm going to be rolling a miracle dice right before we start up the hand-to-hand. And the hand-to-hand is in front of where the Castigator was just a moment ago. It is the Keeper of Secrets versus the remaining Retributor squad. This will end the 3rd turn for the Emperor's Children, and then it goes back to my Sisters of Battle after that hand-to-hand, and I've got to start thinking really smart. I might actually stuff the Inquisitor into the back of this Rhino and just hope that the remaining models will be able to hold it off, but we'll see how it goes. Over the tray, though, going to roll that miracle dice and then get into the hand-to-hand combat. Let's get to it. This is the Castigator's miracle dice roll. Let's see what we can get and see if this can maybe help out the Retributors fighting this Keeper of Secrets. Another 3, not the worst, not the best. I'll take it. It is over in my pool. So currently, just to sum up the pool, we have a 6, a 3, and a 3. And now it is over to the Keeper of Secrets. I'm going to be using all those insane melee attacks again for it. So the Ritual Knife, 3 attacks hitting on a 2+. All of those are through. I'm going to grab 4 dice here for the Snapping Claws, also hitting on a 2+. I'm going to try to keep these separate this time to make sure I know which one's which. So those are all through as well. And then the Wit Sealer Sword, which is going to be 6 more attacks, hitting on again a 2+. And that time a couple fell off, so that helped out. So the Woodsealer Sword's down here. I'm just going to try to remember each one. So the Ritual Knife is a strength 6 versus the Retributor's toughness 3. So this is going to be 2s to wound. All of those are through. It is a -2 to AP. To keep this safe, I'm just going to use these as the saving dice as well. So that brings our Retributor squad up to a 5+ save. And here we go. So even if I brought in that miracle dice roll for an act of faith, it's not going to help. This is 2 damage per. We have 2, 4. That's enough to kill them outright, and then I'm not going to waste a dice. So the Retributor squad has gone down to the Keeper of Secrets Ritual Knife. That is some more heavy punch that is lost. I don't think I have too many weapons left that actually have the ability to take out the Keeper of Secrets. My multi-meltas were important. I do have a Meltagun with that remaining Battle Sister squad, a Heavy Flamer, and then the 2 Gun Servitors have some higher weapons. But the Castigator's gone, my Retributors are gone, the Paragon Warsuits are gone, and now the Retributors are done. So I'm going to be marking a Battle Scar for them. While we're live, I am going to roll their miracle dice. However, hope for something really high here, and that by some chance it'll save the day later on. Another 3. So in the pool, we have a 6, a 3, a 3, and a 3. So I am going to remove those models, mark the battle scars, and then we will come back and start moving the Slaaneshi Emperor's Children. So yes, this is not the Slaaneshi turn. The movement for the Battle Sisters has just been completed, so I'll sum that up. The Emperor's Children, however, are closing in more and more. Less models than ever so far for the Allies, and there's not many Sisters of Battle left. So I have backed the Rhino tank over the Wall of Martyrs, picked up the Inquisitor, who is now in the Rhino, so again, using boxes for transportation. So that's going to give him a little bit more armor and hopefully be able to survive this turn and the next. So it's not, completely impossible. We'll have to see. His Inquisitorial henchmen, however, are going to have to really do some damage here and at least try to hold off whatever is going to happen here. The remaining Battle Sister squad, a Magifier and Canoness, have wheeled around to the right to try to hold off this horde of Infractor Rhinos, and then there's also the Noise Marines inside that Rhino. So if they hop out next turn, might not be a good thing, but for now I will be able to do the shoots. I'm going to get that on camera for the Battle Sisters. I'll probably do all of the Inquisitorial henchmen off camera. I think I'm going to try to plink that lone Demonette. Sadly, it's not going to be a kill for any of my forces here, unless I maybe have the Stormbolter on the Rhino do that. Maybe I'll do that and then have all of the Inquisitorial henchmen fire at the Keeper of Secrets. And they still have a multi-melta and a heavy plasma cannon, so it's possible. The Land Raider is also peeking out from underneath the landing pad. It doesn't matter if it's there or not. The Valkyrie is going to come in with a strafing fire and be able to pick up that Inquisitor no matter where he is on the table. It's just coming in from orbit right now, so that's why it's taking these 5 turns to get down to the planet to pick him up. Maybe there was some debris out in space or something going on there, so it took them the 5 turns to get here. Hopefully this force can last the 5, but I am going to go to the tray now. We're going to shoot for these remaining Battle Sisters, see if they can get any tally kills up, and then the Sororitas Rhino will try to plink that last Demonette and try to get a kill point for them too. So here we go, over to the tray. So we will start off the Sisters of Battle shoot with the Sororitas Rhino's Stormbolter. It is in range to get those additional rapid fire 2 dice. So this is going to be 4 attacks at the Demonette. Really hoping that I can kill it here. And this would be a unit kill for the Rhinos. That would be fantastic. So here we go. 3 pluses to hit. Really? Really? Holy shit. 3 1s. 1 shot is through from the 4. Strength 4, toughness 3, 3 to wound. Got that. I do have some dice saved up in my pool, so maybe I should have used them. You know what? Let's use 2 of them. Fuck it. Those are through, and I'm going to roll these. There we go. So 3 shots. I'm going to use these as the saving dice for the Demonette. It is going to be a 5+ save, and it is dead. Fucking thing. It's dead. So what I did there is I pulled 2 miracle dice from my pool, used that for the actual to hit, because I rolled 3 1s, as you saw. And then We got the hits through, so that is the end of the Demonette, and that is a unit kill point for the Sororitas Rhino. So I'm going to mark that, and then we're going to move over to, yeah, I might do the rest of the shoots off camera just to save some camera time here, and the entire Inquisitorial Henchman line is going to be firing at the Keeper of Secrets, and then that Battle Sister squad at the Infractors, and then I'll come back and show you guys how many models they've been able to kill. Shoot phase for the Battle Sisters turn 4 is complete, which finishes their turn 4. It is back over the Emperor's Children here in a sec, and then the Sisters of Battle will have to survive one more turn, but it is closing in here very quickly. As we saw at the very beginning there in the tray, the Sororitas Rhino was able to kill that final Demonette. The entire line here of the Inquisitorial Henchmen fired. The 2 heavy weapons did nothing. None of the henchmen firearms did anything, and the Keeper of Secrets still has 6 wounds remaining. Over here, I had to use every single one of my miracle dice, so I have none in the pool left to be able to just get some firepower on these Infractors. The rolls were some of the worst I think I've ever done, but luckily I could use those miracle dice. So they were able to kill 2 of the Infractors and leave another with 1 wound. It was not enough. I was really hoping for some stuff there. The Melt-A-Gun could have blapped a bunch of them and just turned them to cinder, but that was not the case. Heavy Flamer did a bit of damage, and then it was the Magifier at the back there that plinked off the final wound from that Infractor on the left. So it is back over the Emperor's Children, as I just said, and this is probably the biggest move of the game, and it's all about survival right now for these Sisters of Battle and their allies. They have so many models that are within range that can get into hand-to-hand combat. Luckily, the Inquisitor is in the Rhino, but if enough high-powered weaponry comes down on that, that might be the end of it, and he may be killed if it explodes. So we'll have to see what happens. Still hoping these Sisters of Battle can pull it off somehow. Over the Emperor's Children, I will do their move and come right back and show you guys where they sit. Oof, it's been a while since I've done a crusade. I'm just trying to sum everything up because there's some units here that I don't think I gave unit kill points to. I also hope that I've been following the turns right as well, because I started a Slaaneshi turn there that wasn't actually their turn last go. So when I edit, I'll have to put this thing together and figure out where all the points are going, and also delete some stuff that wasn't legit. But anyways, the legitimate Emperor Children and Slaanesh turn has completed. The Rhino bolted right up to the wall here. The Infractors have surrounded the Canoness and have the initiative, so she is fighting alone, so her Battle Sisters do not have to face the brunt of all of these Infractors. The Lord Exultant is at the back watching on. He is also broken away to be his own model. The Rhino has come up over the wall, and the Noise Marines have spilled out, and they're going to be putting their Blastmaster and Sonic Blasters onto this Rhino that has the Inquisitor within it. I'm playing hard for both sides as always, and that is exactly what I would do if I'm trying to win this one for the side of the Emperor's Children. This side here of the Inquisitorial Henchmen are not in hand-to-hand combat and are still alive for the most part right now. The remaining 6 on this side, however, are in hand-to-hand combat with the Keeper of Secrets. We saw what the Keeper did to the Sanctifiers. I'm hoping it's a different outcome this time, but it probably won't be. Lucius has moved in with the Tormentors just outside of hand-to-hand combat, but those Tormentors are in range, but they can't fight because the unit that they'd be shooting at are in hand-to-hand combat. The Land Raider has pulled in 2. Luckily, the bunker that's there is blocking line of sight to the Rhino, so those las cannons that shredded the Castigator cannot fire upon it, so that's great. And then the remaining Noise Marine section has moved up over the wall, and they're there to support if there's any stragglers at the end of this. So this might be the deciding turn for this battle, and to see if the Sisters of Battle are going to win or if they're going to lose. So the shoots are going to happen. I am going to probably do that on camera for the Noise Marines. And then I'll definitely get the hand-to-hand combat in there for the Canoness and possibly also for the Keeper of Secrets. So I will roll all that, come back, and show you guys what's happened with the shoot. Yeah, we'll get that in the tray, and if there's any other shoots, I'll take care of that off camera, but over the tray. It is fitting that we start the shoot phase off with the Noise Marines versus the Sororitas Rhino, because it does have a deadly demise, and if it does explode here and get destroyed, it is very possible that the Inquisitor inside could be killed, which would be the end of this battle, because that is the Emperor's Children victory indicator, is to kill him before the 5 turns are up. So we're going to be doing the Blastmaster single frequency ×2. So the first one is firing now, 3 pluses to hit. All through, not good. The next one is going. All through, also not good. It is strength 10 versus toughness 9. The Sororitas Rhino is not as strong as some of those other tanks, so this is actually 3s to wound, which is also not good. And all are through except for 1. I'm going to use these dice for the save now. So it is a -2 to AP. The Sororitas Rhino goes from a 3+ to a 5+ save. So I need 5s here. Oh, that is not good. So there is a 6 that was rolled. That is a save. The fucking Blastmaster single frequency is 3 damage per. So that is 3, 6, 9, 12. The Sororitas Rhino has 10 wounds, so it has been destroyed. I have to give it a battle scar right now, and I'm going to do that before I forget because I've been kind of lackadaisical with that. So that's another battle scar to a unit. And now we're going to see the Deadly Demise. So if you guys don't know what Deadly Demise is, I'll just read that. It's one of the core rules of Warhammer 40k. So you can imagine a vehicle explodes. There's going to be fuel, ammunition, stuff like that within the tank. Anyone inside could also be killed. So some models have Deadly Demise X. In this case, it is a D3 for the Rhino. That'll change for different tanks and different types of weapon systems and models as well. When such a model is destroyed, roll 1d6 before moving it from play. If such a model is a transport, which is the case for the Rhino, roll before any embarked models disembark. So the Inquisitor is currently embarked within. On a 6, each unit within 6 inches of that model suffers a number of mortal wounds denoted by X. If this is a random number, roll separately for each. So what we have to do here is we're going to be rolling 1d6. And then on a 6, so we don't want a 6 here. I'm going to roll that with the red dice in hopes that we don't get a 6. Got a 5, so that's great. So the Rhino has exploded. So on a 6, each unit within 6 inches of that model suffers a number of mortal wounds denoted by. So there has been no mortal wounds delivered. So the Inquisitor was very lucky. The flames engulfed around him, but he was not killed. So I'm going to remove the Rhino. It has been given its battle scar, and this is going to continue on with the remaining shoots for the models that are in range and in line of sight. And then we'll get to the hand-to-hand combat in just a sec. I'll come back and sum up the shoots there as well. But the Rhino is gone. The Inquisitor, however, lives on. So as we saw on the tray there, the Noise Marines did away with the Rhino. Luckily, it did not explode and kill the Inquisitor. So the Inquisitor has tucked himself right in behind the bunker here. So he's out of line of sight and range. Well, in range, but out of sight from the Land Raider and the remaining Noise Marines. Next turn, though, if these Noise Marines keep moving up, he will be in range and in line of sight. The Havoc launcher on the Rhino fired in to the Inquisitorial Henchman and killed the 2 on the end, so that squad is down to 3 from their original 6. We're just about to get into the Canoness's possible last stand here, so there is an entire squad of infractors around her. We're going to see what she can do. They have the initiative, so they will be attacking first, and then if she's able to save, she is going to counterattack. And as I showed at the start of the turn, there's a lot coming in on this left side. So they have to survive this turn. It goes back to the Sisters of Battle. I'm going to have to really peel some people back to block for the Inquisitor. Possible that we could still win this one, but there has been tons of battle scars to the Battle Sisters. It's been a fantastic battle to learn about them, though, especially in 10th edition with the new codex and kind of what their abilities are. And mattering how many requisition points I want to use to remove battle scares from units, I'm going to be purchasing some more models, and I have an idea as to kind of where they're lacking and what I need. And the next battles are going to be very different from this too, so I have to look at how that'll be set up and then go from there. But first thing is first, we will do the hand-to-hand combat. I'm going to do this one with the Keeper's Secret off camera. Do that first, and then I'll do the Canoness in the dice tray and come back and show you guys what's happened there. Should have maybe saved that Emperor's Grace 2+ invulnerable for this. This is the Canoness versus the Infractors. They are going to be attacking first. They all have dueling sabers, at least. Yeah, Those are 4 attacks apiece. Not the best strength, but that's so many attacks coming from a squad of 10. It's going to be 40 attacks. I don't think she can survive it. Also, just to cover while we're here, the Keeper of Secrets absolutely decimated the Inquisitorial Henchman on the left flank there. It got 8 attacks through alone from its sword and killed them all outright. So there's only 3 Inquisitorial Henchmen remaining. The heavy plasma gun, the hand-to-hand combat, kind of like Katachin looking dude, and then the guy with the double pistols. But anyways, let's get to the Canoness. I don't even think I have enough dice here, so I'm probably going to have to roll my red dice and my black dice as opposed to the purple and pink. So let's do the first 20 here and see how this goes. This is half of the infractors, so this is hitting on a 3+. Wow. Okay. A lot fell off. So bad luck rolling with the red Battle Sisters dice for the Emperor's Children. So these are through though. It is strength 4 versus toughness 3. That toughness 3 it hurts. Like the Space Marines have a 4. These guys do have that invulnerable save across the board, the Battle Sisters, but that's tough because all of these are 3s to hit now instead of a 4. Much easier roll. A couple more fell off. So we had 1, 2, 2. Everything else, I think you guys can see that. It's a 4. So these are through. It is a -1 to AP. That brings our Canoness up to her 4+ invulnerable. And she saved a lot. So, wow, good job. 3 have gone through. And that was the remaining ones she had. So if she still had her first initial 4, she would have still been alive. But then she would be taking on another 20 attacks from the remaining Tormentors. Infractors. So that is the end of our Warlord, the Canoness. While we're live, we are going to get a miracle dice roll for here. So let's see how it goes. And it's a 6. So fitting, the Canoness, the Warlord, gets a 6 on the miracle dice. The remaining Battle Sisters are fired up. They just saw their Canoness go down. That is the end of the Emperor Children turn. For turn 4, it now moves into the final turn. And these Emperor's Children and Slaaneshi models have to kill this Inquisitor during this turn, or this is a victory for the Battle Sisters. So over to the Battle Sisters for their movement, and we'll see how it goes. Very quick movement here for the Sisters of Battle and their allies, the Inquisitorial Henchmen. Only a few models remain. The Battle Sisters have moved back a little bit. They're going to be trying to fire upon whatever they can during this turn. Down here, the Inquisitor has moved from the side of the bunker in behind to make sure that the Noise Marines can't fire on him. However, these models are all very close and can move in, putting some fire down on him next turn. But this was his best move. If he'd gone on top, it would have been open to everything. If he was on this side, he would have been open to the Rhino, possible infractors, Noise Marines, Havoc Launcher, all that stuff. His Inquisitorial Henchmen, very heroic, have gone in to lock up that Keeper of Secrets to hopefully deliver some wounds before it can move next turn, in the chance that he is able to fight it and maybe slay it by some, I don't know, hope. So I'm going to get to the shoots here. I'm going to shoot that off camera, so I'll come back and show you guys what the Battle Sisters have been able to do. And I think I'm going to be putting a lot of firepower down on those Noise Marines because of the ability that they have with just that strength of weapon. And I'll come back and show you guys that they've been able to kill any, and then we'll get to the hand-to-hand combat here for the Henchmen versus the Keeper of Secrets. So we got to get this on camera. This is the Inquisitorial Henchman's heroic stand against a greater demon of Slaanesh, the Keeper of Secrets. Just finished off the shoot phase, so I'll sum all this up when I get back to the table in a sec. But the remaining Battle Sisters were able to kill 1 Noise Marine and bring another down to 1 wound with the aid of the Magifier. But this is now the Inquisitorial agents. They are going to be able to fight first here. And they have a couple of weapons. The Eviscerator was killed, but they have the Mystic Stave. So I'll start off with that. It's going to be 2 attacks hitting on a 3+. Both are through. Strength 5, toughness 10, 6s to wound though. Not strong enough. Now we have the Agent melee weapons, which are 3 apiece. So this is the Gun Servitor and the double Pistolier guy. So here we go, looking for 3+. That was good. I'll roll the other one here while we're still going. All of those are through. Strength 3 though versus toughness 10, need 6s. Nothing. So that is it. The Inquisitorial henchmen have tried to stab at the Keeper of Secrets and finish him off. It is now back over to the Keeper of Secrets as he is allowed to counterattack, or she. I'm not sure. The Keeper of Secrets is kind of could be a male, could be a female. So here we go. It is the Wit Sealer Sword. I'm just going to start with that profile. 6 attacks, 2+. All are through except 1. It is Strength 8 versus Toughness 3. This is going to be 2s to wound. All are through except 1. I'll use these dice for the save as well. -2 to AP. That actually brings them up to 7+ save, which is not possible. They do not have an invulnerable, at least from their card. I don't have the codex. I just have their cards. I bought those. I might still pick up the codex. We'll have to see. But I'm working off that, so that might be a bit outdated if there's been the update. So it is 3 damage per. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12. The henchmen have tried to make a glorious last stand to protect their Inquisitor and pull some wounds off the Keeper of Secrets, but they have failed. They have all been killed, and now it is back over to the Emperor's children, and I believe this battle is over. But we'll see if there's any chance that there's something that could happen here. So I will look at the table, check it all out, come back and show you guys what has happened. Just do a quick sum up there actually before we move over to the Emperor's Children. So that is all that remains of the Battle Sisters force. The Sisters of Redemption, I have named them. Order of the Martyred Lady. There are 5 Battle Sisters left with 1 Imagifier, and they are completely surrounded with the Warlord of the Slaaneshi force there. We have the Lord Exultant on the right of the screen right now. In here, we have the Inquisitor, who is the victory indicator for the Emperor's Children. If they can kill him here, he is done. And I think that is probably what's going to happen unless some of the best dice rolling of my life happens right now. So the Land Raider is going to move here. It's not blocking the path, but it is there. And it is actually going to be the Keeper of Secrets that is going to get into hand-to-hand combat. So it is above him right now, but it's able to slash downwards. It was wounded quite badly at the beginning when they put all that firepower on it, down to 6 wounds. So there's possibly a chance that it might die here. I'm going to move the rest of the models in too. So like Lucius is just outside of range. You can move 8 inches. It's probably about here. I don't have my measuring tape, but I'll get that all measured out just to be sure that no one else is in range. But it is going to be hand-to-hand combat, the Keeper of Secrets versus the Inquisitor, and the Keeper of Secrets has the initiative, so he will be fighting first unless the Inquisitor has a fight first ability, which I don't think, but I'll check the stats there just to be sure, and we'll get to the tray and definitely roll for this one. The other bonus here is if the Inquisitor is killed, yes, I lose the battle, but I don't have to give any more battle scars to my poor Battle Sisters because every unit has received one except, I believe it's Battle Sister Squad Beta and the Imagifier. So we'll get to the tray in just a sec. I'm going to look at everything, move all the models up to their full range just in case, and if by some chance the Inquisitor survives this attack from the Keeper of Secrets, the Battle Sisters have actually won this one. So it's a huge, huge roll over to the tray, and we'll get that going in just a second. Okay, so this is it. I am working off a datasheet card again for an Inquisitor, so the rules may have changed here. I'm seeing a 5+ invulnerable. That now may be a 4, but I'll be working off the card. This is the Keeper of Secrets, and actually I thought the Keeper of Secrets only had melee, but it has ranged as well. So I don't want to say it's too loudly here, but this model might actually be better than Fulgrim. I had both of them in here at the start, but that would have been insane because they both would have been moving leaps and bounds and probably been in hand-to-hand combat with the Inquisitor right off the bat. It's been a slower burn, which is good, but the ranged attacks are Living Whip, and then there's the Phantasmagoria Witchfire and Phantasmagoria Focused Witchfire. So there's a couple attacks that it has. This, however, is 100% melee. We have seen what it can do so far. So I'm going to start off again with the Wit Sealer Sword. That's going to be 6 dice here, 6 purpley Slaaneshi dice. So it is hitting on a 2+. 2 fell off. The Inquisitor has 4 wounds. and that invulnerable save. So it's not like it's impossible, but he's going to have to get some damn good rolls. It is a strength 8 attack against toughness 3, so the Inquisitors as well do not have that toughness 4 of a Space Marine. So here we go. It is going to be choose to wound. Ooh, another couple fell off. This is its strongest attack too. So -2 to AP. I'll switch out for red dice here. That brings the Inquisitor up to that 5+ invulnerable. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. So the Keeper of Secrets has killed the Inquisitor. It is 3 damage per with the Witsealer sword. So that is 3, 6. The Inquisitor has 4 wounds, so he has fallen. The battle has been lost. The Battle Sisters were super close. This was the 5th turn. If the Emperor's Children somehow were not able to kill the Inquisitor here, or I should say the Keeper of Secrets, because he's the only one right now that is in a fight with him, then this would have actually gone to the Battle Sisters. So I'm just going to show the table one last time before we pack it up here. And then I'll come back and explain what's going on for the next battle. But thank you guys for watching. Been a lot of fun. Been learning about the Sisters of Battle, some of their strengths and weaknesses, and this one was tough. It was almost a 2,000 point Slaaneshi and Emperor Children army versus, 1,200, 1,300 of Battle Sisters and Allied models. But a very good one to start with. Sucks that it's a loss, but maybe that'll be the first and only loss of the campaign. But yeah, let's go see the table, show you guys what remains, and yeah, we'll get to it right now. So there is our Inquisitor who has been slain, thrown up on the landing pad as kind of a bit of a joke there by the Slaaneshi demons and marines. Very cool model. That's the one that came as if you have like Warhammer Plus, you get that model. Very sick, very cool to paint. Was very happy to have him in here, but he did not live. Here is the Keeper of Secrets that was able to do away with the Inquisitor, and the remaining force. There was still a lot of Emperor's Children left. So, if we could have survived that attack there, I don't think anyone would have been able to get him, except maybe, no, it would have been hand-to-hand, so that would have been it. The Battle Sisters here, I am going to say that they were pulled out by the Valkyrie, so they have survived. There's no battle scars. They have taken a loss, but at least that's 2 battle scars that I have missed. If you guys want to see a breakdown of how the Crusade narrative works, you can watch back to either the first, second, or both episodes of my Acadian Narrative Crusade, and it kind of shows you how the points work, how experience works. When you move up to certain ranks, you get battle honors, and then how battle scars work as well, which is penalties to your units. I currently have 5 requisition points for my Battle Sisters, and I can use those to up my supply limit, which means I can get more models. I think I'm probably going to do that with at least 2 of the requisition points, which will be 400 additional points for my force, which I think is highly needed. I'm going to be looking at my Battle Sisters army, as I said earlier, to make sure I'm bringing in the right kind of models. I still have lots of tanks. I can actually show you guys who's remaining here. So we have Morvenn Vahl. She's quite expensive. Might bring her in though, because she's going to be some pretty good hand-to-hand combat and range punch. I have 2 Battle Sisters tanks at the back there as well. That might give us a little bit of extra punch. There are mortifiers here, which are like, there's also the Coffin one too that's a Battle Sister in there. They might give me a little bit more punch as well. Down here, I have Zephyrim and Seraphim, which are very high speed models. Not the best strength, though, so I'll have to see what I want to do there. More Battle Sister squads. Another squad of Celestian Sacrosancts. And then down here, which I definitely want to bring in, I'll have to check their point value, is the Sisters Repentia, which are sisters who have kind of sinned, been stripped of all of their armor, and all they're doing in battles to get into hand-to-hand combat to fight. I have Astrid Thurga as well, and Agatha Dolan, which are 2 very good characters. I'll have to look what they can do. And then I have Sisters Novitiate as well. So we'll see what I want to bring in. Lots of stuff that I could still do. We are going to finish this one off, and I will start to explain the next battle that's going to take place. So there's a total of 5 to 7. I forget what I lined up here for my Battle Sisters. So the first one was versus the Emperor's Children, and that was a continuation of the Acadian fight where the gateway was opened and the Slaanesh started to pour into the city. this was at the very end of the city and the last chance for them to get the Inquisitor out to kind of warn the rest of the Imperium that this was going on. So that has not happened. However, as per Crusade narrative rules, your force comes back fully with those battle scars that they've earned or at least been given. And then from there, you move forward with the rest of your crusade. So the next one is going to be against the Orcs. That's going to be a very interesting battle. And it is going to be an objective control battle, very similar to if you guys have played the board game Risk. There's going to be different sections of probably the same table. I like using the cityscape for that because it's broken into sections. So there'll be different monuments or different buildings that have certain point values attached to them. Each force is going to be able to pick up buildings. They can pick them up beside each other, across from each other, and I can put models wherever I want. So if I want my whole force in one of those squares, I can do that. If I want to have half of them in one, I can do that, and then we'll see how that goes. And again, I'll be setting that up as best I can for both sides. We're going to get to that later. I'll explain more of those rules probably when we get to that fight, but it will be the Sisters of Battle versus the Orcs. Excited for that one, and that is going to be a fair battle. So if there's 1,400 points of Sisters of Battle for this next one, there's going to be 1,400 points for the Orcs to make it as even as possible. Might give them a better shot because this one here, that additional 500 to 600 points that Slaanesh had was a little too much, but a very, very good test for the Sisters of Battle. They fucking held their own. They did great. Considering that they did lose, but phenomenal fight. Thank you guys for watching. Always, please like, subscribe. We'll be back more with some content soon after I get this one edited up. And yeah, we'll see how they do in their next battle. Thanks again. Bye-bye.